Funding for the Iowa High School Wrestling Championships has been provided by Friends of Iowa Public Television. By Medicap Pharmacy, your locally owned and operated community pharmacy, serving Iowans from 56 Iowa locations. Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you. By Allied Insurance, a member of Nationwide Insurance, proud to be a supporter of Iowa's outstanding high school athletes. By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialist, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community. By Plain Talk Printing, a commercial offset printer helping Iowans send clear, colorful, and focused messages for over 100 years. Plain Talk Printing, raising the color bar to a new standard. By Hammer Strength, producing biomechanically correct strength training products for the fitness industry since 1988. More information is available at 800-634-8637. And by the Iowa Bankers Association. Iowa Banks, working with you and for you for a better Iowa.
Iowa Public Television Sports presents the Iowa High School Wrestling Championships. Tonight, it's the finals as 39 Warriors will realize their dream, a state title. Hello everyone, I'm Tim Johnson, along with my partner Jim Gibbons. Jim was a three-time Iowa State High School champion and an NCAA wrestling champion and coach of the Iowa State Cyclones. Jim, welcome. I bet you have a lot of great memories here.
Well, I certainly do, Tim. It was a great experience. I'm so excited to be crowning 39 state champions will be crowned tonight, but there's literally more than hundreds and hundreds of winners that participated in this event all weekend. And when I traveled and recruited around for Iowa State University, you know, there was not a better, and I saw a lot of state high school wrestling terms, but nothing better than what Iowa High School Athletics Association puts on here today.
Well, they do put on a big show, and because the competitors wrestle on all three mats at the same time, the Iowa High School Athletic Association has predetermined the featured matches on a 3-year rotation so that all weights will be shown fairly.
And we'll start off at 1A with 103 through 125-pound weight classes. Then the next 4 weight classes in 2A will be 130 through 145. And 3A, it'll be 152 through 189. And the heavyweight match will be determined a little bit later.
Well, for all of you waiting for your favorite wrestler, you will see all 39 championship matches because we'll have the other 2 matches up on the screen simultaneously. We won't be doing as much commentary on the other 2, but if the featured match gets over early, we'll go to another one. We're going to bring you as much action as possible. We're really excited about welcoming a new member of the team tonight. Yes, his name is Gibbons, and yes, he's familiar with Veterans Auditorium as well because Joe Gibbons was a rare Iowa 4-time state high school champion. Joe went on to become the first 4-time state champion in Iowa history to win an NCAA title at Iowa State. Yes, Joe, an NCAA titleist at Iowa State, wrestled for his brother, Jim Gibbons, and he then went ahead and joined Jim as an assistant coach at Iowa State. It's the Gibbons brothers, a lot of history there. There they are, as a few years ago, they led the Grand March. What a story. It's exciting. Welcome, Joe Gibbons.
Well, thanks, Tim, and thanks, Iowa Public Television, for the warm welcome. It's great to be back here on the mats of the Iowa State Wrestling Championship. When I look back with my brothers, we had a lot of great memories. But this is where my dream came true of becoming a 4-time state champ, and so it does something to your heart. But I also look up into the crowd and I see these fans, and you won't find these kind of fans anywhere in the country cheering you on. So every time I stepped on the mat, I felt like they were cheering for me, and I felt like I couldn't lose. So tonight I look forward to watching these wrestlers go for their titles with championship performances.
Well, thank you, Joe, and Joe will be looking at the team standings a little later. Earlier, Dean Borg had the opportunity to visit with Dan McCool, the sports writer for the Des Moines Register, to profile the competition.
Thanks, Tim. Dan, of all the wrestling you have watched all year in the rankings, you've got a pretty good record of people wrestling tonight for champs.
Well, I got 69% of my final number one individuals are in the championship matches, and if Underwood holds on, I've got all 3 of the team champions for the 3rd year in a row.
That's a good record. Now, you have 3 people that are going for a 3rd state championship. Now, 47 people have done that in the past. If they win tonight, it'll be 50. Tell us about them.
You got 3 good people going for it tonight. You've got
Sundell.
You got Jesse Sundell. Never lost in high school. He's 99-0. Tough enough to come back from having a bull break his leg in a rodeo accident and still try to win 3 tonight.
Yeah, he's a bull rider, and he broke his leg, didn't wrestle then until January.
Till January.
What about Jeff Harrison?
Jeff Harrison's somebody a lot of people don't know about because, you know, he's off in the western part of the state, but he's won almost 170 wrestling matches in his career. And, you know, the guy's quality wherever he comes from, and he's going to go after it again tonight.
And Trey Clark?
Trey Clark might be the best person this state's produced in a wrestling match since David Kelgard. Good citizen, great wrestler. Iowa's got a real swell deal coming to school next fall.
Dan McCool, thanks for your insights. We'll let you get back to press row. We're about ready to get going here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dean. Now let's join PA announcer Mo Kelly for tonight's opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the nation's finest high school wrestling event, the 2000 Iowa State High School Championship meet. Last Thursday, 624 of the finest student athletes in the state had the high honor of beginning competition in this tournament. At this time, we introduce you to the 234 young men who have earned state place winner status. It's the Grand March of Champions, led by our Grand March escorts, Ed Winger, Fred Hildebrand, David Kaus, and Shannon Waddell, our longtime tourney official bench coordinators. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, to salute our nation, the national anthem will be sung by John Moore, senior student athlete at Milford High School, Okoboji.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last streaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
the home of the brave.
Let's join Joe Gibbons, who is with Jim Steyer, editor and publisher of The Predicament.
I'm here with Jim Steyer, former head wrestling coach at West Marshall and currently the executive secretary of the Iowa Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association. Jim, you're wearing a new hat nowadays as the editor and publisher of The Predicament. Why don't you tell us where we're at right now with that?
Well, The Predicament has been in existence for 30 years, and Ron and Diane Seaman have done just a great job keeping it going. And last summer, Ron gave me a call and said, we'd kind of like to move The Predicament on to somebody else. You know anybody that might be interested? Well, I kind of looked around and I called a few people, and I really didn't find anybody who was ready to take it right now. And so I kind of ended up jumping on and grabbing the reins, and it's been a lot of work, a lot of fun. We try to do the best we can. We hope we can keep the same quality that the Siemens have kept, and hopefully it's going to be a fun thing for me to do.
Well, I think I've known you for a lot of years here, Jim, and I think you're going to do a terrific job. And so I think the fans of the state of Iowa are really glad it's in someone's good hands. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now let's take a look at the class, the team standings in Class 1A, 2A, and 3A.
Well, in 1A, Underwood and Lennox were set up to have a really good head-to-head, and they're matched up in the last match of the tournament, so it could have come down to that very last match, but the Underwood men had such a good round in these consolations. I think they're going to be real tough to catch.
Well, Lennox will probably have to wrestle their best matches tonight to win that.
In 2A, Emmetsburg brought a good group of kids, and they've built up a pretty comfortable lead. They have 3 in the finals. Union's only got 2. Osage's only got 2. Looks like Emmetsburg's going to get the job done.
And now to 3A?
Well, Lewis Central wrapped her up last night in the semifinals. They've got 4 finalists. They got a great group of kids. I think they're ranked 20th in the state, and they're going to have a state championship team to take back to Lewis Central.
Okay, that does it all. Back to you, Tim.
And now let's rejoin the Iowa High School Athletic Association for its recognition ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can have your attention. We hear it often at big-time events with big-time performers and at little events as well. But believe you me, I don't think anybody can beat the great rendition of the national anthem provided tonight by one of our student athletes, a senior at Okoboji High School in Milford, John Moore. What a tremendous job. A big hand for John Moore. Our Grand March escorts for the year 2000. All these wrestlers, all these coaches, all these officials, all these mats, 8 of them at one time, and the organization of the meet continues to roll right along. And it's been that way for many years. And these 4 gentlemen, our Grand March escorts, are one of the main reasons for that. They are the official state tourney bench coordinators. They're the ones that keep it rolling. And we'd like to acknowledge them at this time individually. Announcer Ed Winger. Fred Hildebrand. Shannon Waddell. And David Kaus. Once in a while, one or maybe even more than one say, this is it, we're quitting. We don't want it to happen. Keep her rolling. Thanks a lot, fellas. Our Hall of Fame will be next. For many years now, the Iowa Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association, along with the Iowa High School Athletic Association, have had a Hall of Fame. We induct those who have done an outstanding job as a high school coach and as a high school wrestler. To present the awards, 3 members of the Board of Control of the Iowa High School Athletic Association. Phil Hintz, Superintendent of Newton, current Chairman of the Board, is the gentleman in the middle. To his right, Steve Waterman, Superintendent Osceola Clark, and to Mr. Hintz's left is Arlo Flagey of Waverly, representing the Iowa Association of School Boards on the Board of Control. Okay, we have some outstanding Hall of Famers this year. We'll begin with one who was with those great Emmetsburg teams of the mid-'80s. They had some great teams. They had a state championship team. They had a runner-up team. And one of the main cogs in those great teams was this individual, a Hall of Famer who won a couple of state championships for the Ehawks, also had a couple of other high finishes. He went on to Iowa State. They thought enough of his leadership ability that 3 times he was named captain of the team. Twice he was named MVP of the Cyclones. Did a great job in NCAA competition. He was an All-American 4 straight years. Our Hall of Famer, Emmetsburg, Steve Hamilton. The next Hall of Famer started at Owine, and then he found a home at Sioux City East, coached there for 20+ years, had some outstanding teams, some outstanding athletes, and all during that time and up to this day, also devoted 30 years to officiating high school and collegiate events. Not only that, but he's well known for his great contribution in many other ways off the mat to youth in the Sioux City area. Meet Hall of Famer Del Hughes, former coach, Sioux City East, accompanied by his wife Sue and daughter Piper. Almost 100 dual meet wins in 22 years at Waterloo East. Steve Knepp had a state championship team in 1983. Known as a good organizer of many tournaments. There will be some tournaments coming up in the Waterloo area later this year, and he's one of the main reasons that they promote wrestling so great up in that area. Hall of Famer Waterloo East coach Steve Knepp, accompanied by his wife Barb. One of our 3-time champions from Storm Lake High School, Stacy Rice, had a record of 118-2 in his high school career with numerous falls, over 90. A tremendous high school career, and then beset by injuries, had a bad shoulder, was never able to overcome that, so he was unable to wrestle collegiately, but he's now doing some coaching up at Sioux Central. Hall of Famer, Storm Lake, 3-time state champion, Stacy Rice, accompanied by Ruth Niles. Here's an interesting story. He never wrestled in high school. He never wrestled in college. But 35 years he's devoted to this sport as a coach, an assistant coach, a volunteer coach, a junior high coach, an official, you name it. He's done it all in wrestling. And when he was coaching 10 years in a 2-class tournament, and 6 of his teams finished in the top 10 in the team race. Not bad for a fellow that never wrestled himself. Hall of Famer from Greenfield, Larry Riley, accompanied by his wife, Barb. Here's another of our 3-time state champions. Came very close to winning that 4th one. It was a tough match. He lost it. Nevertheless, 3 first-place finishes and 1 runner-up finish. A record of 140-3 in his high school career. Went on, performed well at the State University of Iowa. We're talking about from Starmont High School, 3-time champ Kent Stryker, accompanied by his wife, Amy. And now our Officials Hall of Fame. The Iowa High School Athletic Association has an Officials Hall of Fame. It covers all sports: baseball, football, basketball, track, cross country. Any official who has done a great job for a number of years is honored by induction in the Officials Hall of Fame. And it just so happens this year we have two wrestling officials going into our Officials Hall of Fame. And their careers are very much alike. They both are natives of Charles City. They both did some teaching and coaching in the early part of their career. Then they both went into administrative work in education. And during this time, they have also been officials. Well over 20 years each, with many, many appearances on our state tournament. In fact, they'll both be working later this evening here in the state finals. So two new inductees in the Officials Hall of Fame: Rich Gray, accompanied by his wife, Linda, and John Monroe, accompanied by wife, Kathy. Okay, next up, the Athletic Director of the Year. This is sponsored by Hy-Vee. The Iowa High School Athletic Directors Association selects the Iowa Athletic Director of the Year. The winner this year has had great experience as a coach and teacher and as an athletic director. At one time, he was an assistant baseball coach at the State University of Iowa. He did some classroom teaching and coaching at various places, such as Muscatine High School. Then went into administrative work, was an athletic director at Sterling, Illinois for a period, and in 1989 came to Valley West Des Moines, where he's done a great job. He is very well respected, as you can see, by his fellow peers in the AD organization, because he does a lot for that organization, both locally and on a nationwide basis. So we honor him this evening as our state's Athletic Director of the Year. Presenting him with this honor, representing the Iowa Athletic Directors Association and Hy-Vee, is Brian Kopis of Urbandale, the current president of that group, Rick Anderson of Storm Lake, the first vice president, and Roger Campbell of Centerville, the second vice president. And our winner is Steve Duncan, Valley West Des Moines Athletic Director, accompanied by his wife, Barb, our state's Athletic Director of the Year. And we move right into our awards presented by the Iowa High School Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association. And to present these awards, the officers of that association. And they are Brett Adams of Independence, the current president, Tom Smalley of Lamar's, the secretary-treasurer, Jim Steyert of State Center, the executive secretary, and Wes Creason of Indianola, the vice chairman, or vice president rather. They'll present the awards for Coach of the Year, and also the Official of the Year, the Junior High Coach of the Year. Let's begin with the Coaches of the Year. In 3A, they've already clinched the 3A team championship. Coach Keith Massey, Lewis Central. His assistant coaches, Lee Smith, Gary McCall, and Ryan Barker. The 2A Coach of the Year, they also have clinched a team title. Bob Kenny of Emmetsburg. His assistants, Tim Scott, Matt Brandenburg, Bob Rothler, and Tony Stubbs. And the 1A Coach of the Year, they also are in the top 5 in that team standing. Bob Yilick of Belle Plaine, and his assistants, Mick Yilick, Jim Drawhouse, Kurt Hinchberger, and Aaron Slaymaker. We know how hard that some of these junior high coaches work to prepare these athletes for varsity competition, and the winner of the Junior High Coach Award this year, Paul Regala of Indianola. And the official of the year from Manchester, Bob Murphy, 27 years of officiating and 9 state tournaments. At this time, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Brett Adams, the Wrestling Coach Independent's current president of the Iowa Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association. Brett?
Each year, our Iowa Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association likes to recognize people who promote the sport of wrestling in high school. And this year, we feel that we've picked 2 good recipients. Our first recipient has been executive producer, director at Iowa Public Television for 25 years. He has produced Iowa High School Wrestling Championships for 25 of the 29 years it's been broadcasted live. He's also produced college wrestling for 24 years. He received the 1991 National Broadcaster of the Year from the National Wrestling Media Association. Our first recipient is Doug Brooker from Iowa Public Television. Our second recipient has been involved with the Iowa High School Athletic Association for 29 years as publications director. He's in charge of awards and programs, as well as numerous publications. He's from Boone, Iowa, and most of you recognize him from before the state tournament announcing for 29 years. We'd like to award our award to Mo Kelly and his wife, Jo. Congratulations, Dad. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What do you say? Let's wrestle.
AG. Our congratulations to all of tonight's award winners. We've got a short break before the finals start as the mats are being cleaned and the athletes are getting ready. Iowa Public Television would like to thank all our viewers of this season's college wrestling series, and we'd like to share some of our college wrestling memories with you.
All of a sudden you're running against the guy, he sticks that leg in, you gotta be able to move out of there. You gotta be able to keep wrestling. You have to be able to keep wrestling.
Can't kind of halfway do it. You gotta believe it. Each and every guy have to take care of their match, okay?
You're gonna be looking for your ankles and things, trying to hurt a knee, anything he can get a hold of to slow you down. He knows he can't beat you. But you can take him down.
So, you know, he's here to try to do it in Carver Hawkeye. He's done it here before.
One or 2 points is big in this match, I think, Coach.
Beat the defending national champion. Your thoughts?
Well, I just went in there, confident. I wrestled him last year. I knew it could be him.
Going against Paul Jim.
Doesn't take him long to shoot, and he's got a takedown.
Big fall, getting your team back into it here. What are your thoughts?
Well, I knew we was falling behind. I don't know. We started off pretty early.
Well, I hope you enjoyed college wrestling. We sure enjoyed bringing it to you, and that was a great production of some of the memories from this past year. College Wrestling 2000. Here we are at the State High School Championships 2000 Veterans Auditorium. And Jim, we've got, in 1A, we got Mac Ryder and Luke Ryland. In 2A, we've got Dusty Pollard and Justin Swafford. In 3A, Dominic Moyer and Nick Buter. Now, I'm going to ask you, what do all 6 of them have in common right now, leading it out?
Well, I tell you what, they have an advantage of not having to sit around and wait, to get out there and get after it. So, that's one of the tougher things. That you come in here at about 6 o'clock or so, you get ready, you have the Grand March, and you have the delay, and some of these guys are maybe a little bit spent emotionally at this stage. We won't know until we see those matches, but it all kind of evens out. And what I love about it is you can really see who expects to be here, Tim.
Well, we're going to start out, like we said, with the first 4 matches on 1A. And here's who's up there. We just talked about it. There's the 6 who, like Jim Gibbons said, who's been there leading it out. They get to go out and get those jitters off out of there, and they get to go right at it. A lot of others have to wait 2 or 3 hours. Mac Ryder, Luke Ryland, Dusty Pollard, Justin Swafford, Dominic Moyer, and Nick Buter. Don Bosco, Eagle Grove at 1A. Osage and Mediapolis, 2A. Oskaloosa and Cedar Falls, 3A. And so it's going to be an exciting first round here. 103 pounds, where you're looking at the red mat, which is the middle mat, which is 1A, and that's where we'll be for our featured matches in our first 4. I'm Tim Johnson along with Jim Gibbons, and we're ready to bring you the State High School Wrestling Championships in the state of Iowa, the year 2000.
Well, both of these fellows, Tim, have pedigrees. Luke Ryland here from Eagle Grove. He's the nephew of Marv Ryland, the longtime coach and championship coach at Eagle Grove. And also Mac Ryder from Don Bosco. His older brother will be wrestling at in a couple of weights here coming up, Joe Ryder.
That's right. And we have Luke Ryland in the green band. Look down on their ankles. You'll see green and red bands. Luke Ryland from Eagle Grove's in the green. He's on the right of your screen. And the left, Mac Ryder, he has red, and he is the freshman from Don Bosco going against Luke Ryland.
You probably can't see it from this angle, but Ryland is probably a little bit bigger, 103-pounder than Ryder from Don Bosco underneath in that position.
Well, let's fill you in up there in the screen. Another freshman in the red looking at the bottom right there in 3A. That's Nick Buter. He's got some pedigree too. His uncle, Greg Randall, won 4 state championships for Mount Vernon, and now Cheryl, Greg's sister, has a son in the finals as a freshman. That's Nick Buter from Cedar Falls going up against the defending state champion, Dominic Moyer from Oskaloosa. That's 3A. We'll keep you informed. And up there, it looks like in the green, Osage's Dusty Pollard is trying to take down and did just get 2 points on Justin Swafford from Mediapolis. That's Pollard from Osage, Swafford from Mediapolis in 2A. Just keep your eyes there if you're looking for one of those schools. But right now, let's go back to the featured match, Jim, and what do we have here?
Well, Luke Ryland is almost getting 2 back points. There's no 2 points takedown. There's not any points given yet, but there it is right there, the 2 points given to Luke Ryland. Mac Ryder started the technique with a fireman's carry technique, and Ryder just kind of lost position, and Ryland was able to come around, and his objective is probably to slow Ryder down here from Don Bosco, and with the 2-0 lead, that's pretty big.
11 seconds left in the first period here, as you're looking at Luke Ryland from Eagle Grove getting on top of Mac Ryder from Don Bosco. Scores 2-0 in favor of Ryland.
And they're going to go to the scores table here.
Still 0-0 in the 3A match between Nick Buter. There's Coach Mashik from Don Bosco, the winningest coach in the history of Iowa high school. And it's still going. He's building an insurmountable lead, I think, as far as the winning coach. There you're looking at Coach Mashik from Don Bosco High School. Dan Mashik, a head coach. Lots of years, lots of wins.
And I think Don Mashik has a little bit of trouble with the mat judge, Bill Rose, on something he may or may not have saw there. So Ryland here in the top position with 2 seconds left. He's going to go out to a 2-0 lead, so that's pretty big. I think I talked to Dave Morgan before this match, the Eagle Grove coach, and his objective, I think, was to try to slow it down. They had a lot of respect for Ryder's ability to get in flurries.
There's the returning champions in this. Jesse Sundell at 1A returning champion. Also Tyson Christensen and a couple others, 4 of them in 1A.
See Ryland working in the top position. He just likes to work the wrist, tight waist ride. He's got a 2-0 lead, working the bar arms. That's what he likes to do. He likes to ride in top, and occasionally he'll go to a cradle. But Ryder just a little frustrated down here with that tight waist ride. Can't get his hips out quite yet.
In 3A, Nick Buter's gone out to a 1-0 lead in the second period over defending state champion Dominic Moyer. He's trying to become the first repeat champion at the lowest weight in 3A since the early 60s. And he's from Oskaloosa. In 2A, it's still 2-0 in favor of Dusty Pollard from Osage over Justin Swafford from Mediapolis.
And I tell you what, Luke Ryland doing an excellent job of riding. He's got a tight waist ride. He's not really being aggressive or working for a near fall in here, but he's got the stepped over the near leg. Now a sit-out attempt by Ryder, getting a little further back. Ryland doing just basically following here. We'll see how he calls this. 50 seconds left in the first period.
Still 2-0. You're listening to Jim Gibbons, former 3-time state high school champion, commentating on the match here between Ryland from Eagle Grove and Ryder from Don Bosco Gilbertville.
This match is really going the way Eagle Grove's coach Dave Morgan would like it to go. Get a controlled takedown, ride him out, and ride him out the whole most of the second period here. There's only 30 seconds left, and Ryder's really having a difficult time getting any hip separation, getting his hip separated from Ryland.
Well, you can still see the difference in Ryland is a bit bigger than Ryder, and you can tell it right now. He's kind of smothering Ryder there on top. But as you said, you were kind of waiting for that stalling call there, weren't you, Jim?
I really was. I think that most officials are not going to let these wrestlers just ride a guy out. But, you know, I tell you what, Ryland will take that in this situation.
Yeah.
He'll take a stall warning instead of an escape. So strategy-wise, it's working out. They're slowing the match down. And as you can tell in the top position, you can really see the size difference.
Well, the team standings in 1A, Underwood at 111.5, leading Lennox 88.5, Don Bosco 83, and Eagle Grove 79.5. In 2A, Emmetsburg winning the championship. LaPorte in second place, Osage in third. So that match that up in 2A is a very important one for Osage. In 3A, Lewis Central, they clinched it yesterday. Big day for Keith Massey and the Lewis Central team winning their first state championship.
Here you see Mac Ryder working the legs up on top. Referee's going to call a stalemate.
Get set, Green.
You're going to see a lot of legs. Ryder, there's a caution on the top man. Jumping the whistle there. You get 2-3 cautions before the third one they give a point. So Ryder likes to lock up the cradle, likes to work the legs.
He's got it locked.
He's got it locked.
Got it locked.
He's got it locked tight.
He's got it points. Whoa.
No, he's not going to get the 2 back points because he only held them there for 1 second, Tim.
Good job by Ryland of breaking that because he was in trouble.
Well, that's a classic example why you want to get that cradle locked a little bit higher up towards the head.
That's a big, big avoidance of trouble by Ryland there because that was close.
And here's a flurry situation here that Ryder doesn't want to be in. He's a little bit high, kind of force the legs in. We'll see if he's bailed out with a stalemate.
Went 3A real fast with 25 seconds left. Buter is behind 3-1 the defending champion Moyer from Oskaloosa. And in 2A, Osage is looking good.
Dusty Pollard from Osage, a freshman going for a first state title.
Over Justin Swafford of Mediapolis.
So we got 29 seconds left here. There's a stall warning. That's 1 point, Tim. So it's 2-1 now. Joe Ryder's going to go ahead and let him up and work on it. And Luke Ryland comes right back into a leg shot. He's going to try to hold on here with 5 seconds left. Can't quite get away. Looks like Ryland's going to win it here, Tim.
Yep. Winding down here.
No. They made a call here.
They give 2 points.
They gave 2 points to Mac Ryder there.
And he won.
Yep, he won. I called that a little prematurely there.
No, they're going into overtime. There they go.
Yep.
They're into overtime right now.
So a takedown tied it up. We're going into overtime.
Wow. What an exciting way to start it out.
Ryland was trying to hold on in that position there, and he wasn't able to go ahead and do it. And Ryder went around and locked the leg.
Not in good position here. Whoa, he's got the leg.
Ryder's got the advantage.
He's got 2, and he wins the championship.
How about that?
Wow.
You talk about pulling it out.
Wow. Right at the end. You can't hang on. That's the lesson, right?
You can't hang on, and Ryland buried his head there a little bit. Ryder wisely, in the regulation, circled around, locked the leg, had the cradle hooked up there, and the referee awarded the points. That tied up the match at 3-3. Both men on their feet, and Ryder didn't waste any time. Got in on that high crotch shot, comes in, comes out the back door. At that point, it's all she said right there. That's a takedown, and that's a state championship.
That's a state championship for Mac Ryder from Don Bosco. Dean Borg.
Tim, it's pretty heady stuff to be a state champion, to be a freshman, but Dusty Pollard of Osage is one. A fall over Justin Swafford of Mediapolis with 40 seconds remaining in the third period. So the champion at 103 in AA, Dusty Pollard of Osage. Tim?
Thank you, Dean, and another freshman winner with Mac Ryder from Don Bosco. And now Joe Gibbons.
All right, in Class 3 at 103 pounds, we had Dominic Moyer of Oskaloosa defending his state championship against a tough freshman from Cedar Falls, Nick Buter, and the score was 3-1. There was just one takedown in the match, and so it was close all the way, but the final score was 3-1. So your champion is Dominic Moyer at 103 pounds.
Thank you, Joe, and Dominic Moyer's only a sophomore.
Yes, he is. He's had 2 championships now at that 103-pound weight class. He didn't do it so easily. He wasn't ranked #1 going into the tournament. Had a good district. Beat the Ankeny wrestler there in the district tournament. I had a chance to see that, and he got a chance to repeat. So that's exciting for him. And I tell you what, Oskaloosa's got to be pretty happy for their young big man or big man on campus, but that 103-pound weight class.
Well, Jason, here's who's wrestling in 112 matchups. Jesse Sundell, undefeated in his high school career, going for his 3rd title against Justin McClintock from Eagle Grove. C.J. Edelson, a freshman from Hudson, going against Joe Huntz from Louisa Muscatine, and Nick Voss going against Gabe Rosterman from Council Bluffs, Lewis Central.
Well, Tim, as Dan McCool mentioned in the open, Jesse Sundell was he's got a hobby, more than just a hobby. His father is a 5-time state Bronco champion, and he's a bull rider. And he broke his leg at a multiple compound fracture. He's got a steel plate and several screws in there. I would assume it's probably his right leg. That's where he has the knee padded, but it happened Labor Day weekend. And he's out there trying to A lot of people probably didn't think he'd be here right now.
Yeah, Bull kicked him in the shin and broke his leg, and here he is going for his third state title, only a junior. Big matchup, of course, for him against Justin McClintock, 35-0 from Eagle Grove, both undefeated.
Two good wrestlers here. Justin McClintock, real active. He likes to really mix it up. He's going to take a lot of shots in this match, and he's dropped in on a double leg shot. Now Sundell trying to neck wrench him over. He's got him in trouble here. McClintock's in a little bit of trouble. There's going to be 2 points. Takedown awarded. So I think you'll see a lot of action in this. And what Sundell likes to do in the top position, he really likes to go for the cradle. There you see a crossface. They wrestled 2 years ago. Sundell dominated those matches, but it's altogether different here.
There's Dave Morgan. He had to overcome big disappointment right there. He's already thinking about it. He just had a very disappointing loss at the first match at 103, but he's got to come right back here and get Justin McClintock going against a 2-time defending state champion. So at 2A, CJ Edelson is wrestling Joe Hans. Edelson from Hudson in the red band, and Joe Hans from L&M, Louisa Muscatine, in the green band. In 3A, Nick Boss from Pleasant Valley wrestling against Gabe Rostermont from Council Bluffs, Lewis Central.
Well, in this match at 1A, basically McClintock had his shot. He had Sundell picked up off the mat, and Sundell did a good job. Here's the replay on the takedown series there. Nice double leg shot by McClintock. Steps up, drives through, and I don't know where this came from, but Sundell neck wrenches him over.
Wow.
Catches him on his back, almost gets the back points.
Well, McClintock even hit, Sundell had good hips there, but McClintock drove through those.
Yeah.
And then he had something else going for him. That's a mark of a champion.
Certainly did. Now McClintock chose the neutral position, and Sundell seems to be winning all the scramble situations. It looked like McClintock had the advantage from Eagle Grove with the purple singlet, and Sundell basically did a good job of flirting there, got it back on top in good position. So, Tim, this is a strategy here, too. You see that McClintock chose the neutral position here, so he's really got to try to get busy, try to win this thing on his feet.
In 2A, CJ Edelson is ahead of Joe Hans 6-2 with a minute and a half left in the second period. And in 3A, the score is still 0-0 with a minute and a half left in the second period.
Well, we've got a little timeout here. Heard the official, he mentioned that there was a contact out, contact lens. Gonna get started here. 1:21 left in the period. Like I said before, he's got to try to get busy here. I'm talking about Justin McClintock from Eagle Grove. He chose neutral. He's down 2-0, so you got to almost assume that that Sundell probably will get out. So he's strategy-wise, he may be thinking like he's down by 3. So he's got to really get busy on the feet.
Well, we've had a lot of action, but only 2 points scored. Less than a minute left in the second period, and the score 2-0 in favor of Sundell.
And here's another scramble situation. And Sundell just seemed to be patient in there. Felt the position about right. He kind of did a slide-by move off of that front headlock of McClintock's and scored. So he's up 4-0. And here's where he's really tough, Jesse Sundell. And we've seen him down before a couple times. In the semifinal match, he was down 4-0 and scored 6 straight points.
Boy, came back strong. He's a strong finisher.
Yes, he is. Now he's in the side roll position. Actually, he's in the top.
Got a Granby roll finish.
Got a Granby roll finish, exactly, Tim. And he's doing a good job of controlling the action. Now 15 seconds left. I don't think you'll see him do anything too dangerous. Riding the wrist, staying behind his opponent's elbows.
Coming to the end of the second period.
Relax, man.
I didn't get to mention the names of the rest of the returning 1A champions. They are Joe Durick from Underwood and Curtis Williamson, Eagle Grove, and Jeremiah Potabom from Lawton Bronson.
Jesse Sundell will choose the down position here. He's leading 4-0. Basically, what McClintock is he likes to bar arm, occasionally use the legs. He likes to use the power half, which he's doing right now. He's got the leg in, power half on Sundale's left arm.
Wow.
He's a little bit high.
Yep.
Well, a little bit, actually his hips are a little bit too low. They're on the mat. He should get his right hip up off the mat, which he's trying to do. You see his right arm, he's got his elbow straight. That's allowing him to get his hips back up on top. So now he goes that power half. I think he's losing position here. He's got to be careful. He's got to be careful. Let's see if he's got to scoot those hips back up. And what Sundale's doing is a great job of putting McClintock's hips on the mat. And so you really can't get any leverage to drive that arm, Sundale's left arm over. So hips are off to the side. He needs to get those hips back up on top, Tim.
Well, McClintock's been close all night, but Sundale's know just how to keep him from being most effective with what he's doing.
I'm impressed with McClintock in the top position here. Now he gets those hips up on top. Let's see if he can drive that power half.
There's only 45 seconds left. The score is 4-0. McClintock behind Sundale.
Well, Jesse Sundale, this is the point in time when you look up at that clock and you don't want to, you want to be fairly aggressive here. Looking at Coach Dave Morgan. Dave was a 3-time state champion for Eagle Grove, and boy, that's a tough situation when you have a controversial match the match before.
That's what I was thinking. You know, when you look at him, he's anguishing, but he's got to get his composure and come back, which he's into it.
Yeah, he is, and his man's doing a good job here. He's going up against a 2-time state champion, and he's coming up to that front headlock series.
Nothing's happening, man.
Referee's going to call a stalemate there.
With 40 seconds left in 3A, 35 seconds left, the score's 2-0 in favor of Nick Boss from Pleasant Valley, trying to keep his record clean, 44-0 going into this against Gabe Rostermont from Council Bluffs Lewis Central. He's ahead 2-0 and riding.
Now that front headlock type series there, and Sundale's doing a good job. He's freed the leg out. Now he's going to be able to counter, and I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, he gets the reversal right there. I talked to Brian Reimers, here's the coach at Ogden here earlier today, and he was describing that feeling he got when he got that call on Labor Day when Jesse Sundale broke his leg. And
what was that feeling?
Jesse's mother called up and says, "Brian, are you sitting down?" You know, and so it just, you know, they had the care to call his coach, and he's an excited guy right now. He's going to have a 3-time state champion, and actually, he's got a chance to be the first coach to coach 2 4-time state champions.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, Sundale wins it. Wins his 3rd undefeated year for Ogden against undefeated until right now, Justin McClintock, only his first loss in 36 matches. And in 2A, C.J. Edelson is going to win. He's ahead 14-7 with 2 seconds left. C.J. Edelson, one of his coaches, is his dad, Tim Edelson, along with head coach Toby Bedard from Hudson. They're going to have a champion, a freshman. He and Mac Ryder and Nick Buter all wrestle in the same club. They've come up through the ranks, and they're freshmen at 3 different schools around the Waterloo Cedar Falls area. And Ryder and now C.J. Edelson wins a title. And then in AAA, the winner is Nick Boss from Pleasant Valley. He completes an undefeated campaign, 45-0. There's CJ, there's Tim Edelson right there hugging his son and probably looking up to mom, and the Hudson group getting all excited because it is very exciting.
It really is, Tim. I mean, you don't see.
Let's go to the awards.
Don Mashik of Gilbertville, Don Bosco. Sixth place, Adam Bender, Lenox. Fifth place, Kiefer Jensen, Missouri Valley. Fourth place, Corey Kalina, Belle Plaine. Third place, Dan Davila, Underwood. Runner-up, Luke Ryland, Eagle Grove. And the 1A 103-pound champion from Gilbertville, Don Bosco, Mac Ryder.
Mac Ryder, the freshman, Don Bosco, Gilbertville, won right at the end, won in overtime.
Did a super job, poised job, and looked like he's a little bit out of position, but he did a great job of getting that takedown there. I'd almost given up on that position for him, and 3 seconds left, he gets the call, and now he's a state champion.
And it just proves you never give up.
Presenting the Class 2A 103-pound awards, Coach Brent Jennings of Osage. Sixth place, Chad Beckham, Waukon. Fifth place, Josh Blitz, Perry. Fourth place, Eli Kilberg, Grinnell. Third place, Jacob Naig, Emmitsburg. Runner-up, Justin Swafford, Mediapolis. And the Class 2A 103-pound champion from Osage, Dusty Pollard.
There's two freshmen, you're looking at them, and they went at it, and the freshman from Osage beat the freshman from Mediapolis. Dusty Pollard wins it and finishes 36-5. Not bad for a freshman campaign.
Well, he gets a chance to follow in Mark Schwab's footsteps there.
Osage's 4-time state champion.
Presenting the Class 3A 103-pound awards, assistant coach Phil James of Oskaloosa. Sixth place, Ryan Osgood, Mason City. Fifth place, Riley Ball, Burlington. Fourth place, Eric Tyndall, Pleasant Valley. Third place, Dan Glissman, Knoxville. Runner-up, Nick Buter, Cedar Falls. And the Class 3A 103-pound champion from Oskaloosa, Dominic Moyer.
Second championship for Dominic Moyer right there from Oskaloosa. He's only a sophomore.
Kept his composure all season, had a few blemishes on that record, but won when it counted.
Let's go to Dean Borg.
Boy, Tim, talk about freshman power. C.J. Edelson of Hudson this year as a freshman broke the school pinning record. He served notice tonight that he's not going to be overlooked. In the first 10 seconds, he scored a takedown over Joe Hans, the defending champion from Louisa Muscatine, and he went on then to decision Joe Hans 14-7. So C.J. Edelson, a Hudson, a freshman, is your champion in AA at 112 pounds. Joe?
All right, in Class 3 at 112 pounds, it was Nick Voss of Pleasant Valley. He placed fourth last year and just completed an undefeated season by beating Gabe Rostermont, a freshman from Lewis Central Council Bluffs, 4-1. All the scoring took place in the third period.
Thanks, guys. We're at 119. Let's go back to Joe.
Okay, I got a guest with me here. We got Jesse Sundell. He just won his third state championship. Jesse, congratulations. Score was 6-0. You just served a shutout. What do you think about tonight?
Well, I came in knowing Justin was a good wrestler. I knew I'd wrestle a solid match if I wanted to beat him. So I just went out there and not let him so I didn't wrestle his match. I wanted to wrestle my match. And it worked out that way, and it came out with a win.
Well, congratulations on your third title, and good luck next year getting your fourth title.
Thanks.
Thanks, Joe, from a man that knows how to experience 4 state titles. And now, Jim, we're getting ready for 119 pounds, and our match is Brett Shields from Mount Ayr versus Chris Thayer from Odebolt Arthur. And we've got Chris Thayer in the green band right there in the left and the blue from Odebolt Arthur. He's 45-1, going against Brett Shields from Mount Ayr. He's got the red band. He's 39-2.
You're going to
36-2.
And you're going to see Brett Shields here in the red singlet or red ankle band there in black uniform. He likes to mix it up, goes with the free shots, likes to go upper body if he can.
And before anything happens to end the match over here at 3A, you're seeing a man in trouble, and the man in trouble is Anthony Watson from Iowa City High. Undefeated wrestler on his back, or was, but Chad Davis from Council Bluffs Lewis Central put him on his back, but it looks like he's hurt. Score is 6-0.
Yeah, they awarded one extra point because of the, I believe they stopped the match because of potentially dangerous or an injury type situation. So they awarded 4 points after the takedown. So that's why you have the 6-0 score. So Chad Davis came right out there with a big time throw, but we're here with Brett Shields from Mount Ayr and Chris Thayer from Odebolt Arthur.
In 2A, in the 2A match, we have Brad Stockton from Williamsburg, undefeated, 34-0, going against Trent Goodale, undefeated, 40-0 from Osage. So you're looking at Goodale out to a 2-0 lead in your 2A match there, and between 2 undefeated wrestlers.
Both wrestlers having a hard time getting through the head-hands defense, but there's a circle around attempt by Chris Thayer from Odebolt Arthur, and he went off a Brett Shields shot. he kind of sensed him coming and did a nice job of spinning around and getting the takedown here. Now it's pretty important. 15 seconds left in the first period to try to ride him out.
That's 2-0 lead for Chris Thayer from Odebolt Arthur. 45-1, going up against Brett Shields, 36-2 from Mount Ayr.
Thayer doesn't have much state tournament wrestling experience, and Brett Shields in the down position here was a place winner last year, placing 6th as a sophomore. That's pretty. 2-0 lead.
They're still attending to Anthony Watson, who was injured in that skirmish there that took Chad Davis out to a 6-0 lead in the 3A match, and it's still 2-0 with 1:15 left in the second period in favor of Trent Goodale from Osage over Brad Stockton from Williamsburg in the 2A. And our match is 2-0, as you see on the scoreboard there. We're in the third match of the evening. In 1A, we'll have one more at 125, and then we'll go to 2A for 4 matches.
Well, Brett Shields on the top position here, trailing 2-0. He's got a pretty fair in the top position. He likes to work the wrist rides and head lever series. He doesn't. He's a 4-time qualifier here at this tournament, so he's got a lot of experience.
Tying a shoe, just relax.
Little knee pad problem there. Chris Thayer adjusting his knee pad. You see him there, 45-1 on the year. Just a junior. Nice switch attempt. Nice job, Tim, of getting his hips out. Look at his hips come out.
Nice
Great
movement.
separation. Nice job there. What I liked about that, Tim, is when he got the switch and then it was just Shields stopped him here. He blew out with his hips, tried to get a lot of hip separation and went the other direction. Got the escape. Now a duck under attempt here. Coaches told us that Shields had this type of technique. A nice boot scoot duck under. And Del Hughes is going to say that's off the mat.
No points. That's close. 3-0 lead for Thayer.
Yep. Referee Tim Byer, the mat judge, agreed with Del Hughes on that call. Just kind of ran out of real estate.
Del Hughes inducted into the Coaches Hall of Fame, the State High School Coaches Hall of Fame. He's the head referee right there in your viewing screen.
Shields has a duck under series, likes to go single leg.
There's Eric Elan, the head coach of Brett Shields from Mount Ayr.
Half shot by Thayer. Fought off pretty well by Shields. Now he's going. I think he's in position to hit his technique here, right off the elbow tie. He's got him. He's waiting for Thayer to push into him a little bit. Now, there it is, right there, the duck under attempt. You saw it coming off that elbow tie. He felt Thayer push into him a little bit, and he gets the 2 points. It's the same technique. He almost hit at the edge of the mat.
Boy, that was a nice move by Shields, and it gives him 2 points to narrow the gap, and with only 5 seconds left, that's how you like to do it.
Unanswered points right there with 2 seconds, 1 second now. That makes it a 3-2 match, changes the whole tempo of the bout.
It certainly does. Going.
Here it is right here, coming off of the shot by Thayer.
Pressure.
The duck under by Shields. You saw that pressure, Tim, come into him, and he lowered his level, hit that little boot scoot technique you saw Lincoln McElravy be make famous over at the University of Iowa.
Very nicely done, and now Shields gets a chance to tie it up, and he does. It's 3-3 in the last period. Minute 53. He didn't take long. 7 seconds. There's Al Schmidt, head coach from Odebolt Arthur. 3-3. Very exciting match at 119-pound championships.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see Shields go back to the well here. You see that elbow tie that he's working with his left arm. He's got control of the elbow. Usually dictates what he wants to do.
The 2 undefeateds from 2A are going at it with less than a minute left, and Goodale from Osage is leading Stockton from Williamsburg 4-1.
Working off the elbow tie again, Shields. See Thayer, they're ear to ear here. You can't get much done here in that position, so Thayer breaks out of it, works into that underhook. That underhook has been giving Shields a little bit of problem here. He can't shoot through that underhook. They call a stalemate there.
Well, 20 seconds left in 2A. Still 4-1. Favor of Goodale from Osage over Stockton from Williamsburg. And it looks like he's in control, as you can see, and the time's ticking away. And Goodale from Osage is on his way to giving Osage their second state championship of the evening.
You see Chad Davis over there in 3A is up to an 8-0 lead here. They're going into the actually the third period. Now a double or duck under attempt here by Shields.
Whoa. Oh, he's got him covered.
And Thayer's got him covered for early TP. Neck wrenched him over. That's points, back points. He might get the fall here.
Oh, whoa, nice roll through there.
He rolled through, but that's pretty big in the match. So Thayer's got a 3-point lead, so Shields has to get busy. Well, it was a nice duck under attempt, but even a better job by Thayer on the neck wrench, and he got the big 5-point move to go up 8-5 now. Tough position for Shields to be in the top position, down by 3 points. He needs to probably try to turn him here.
With only 10 seconds left, it doesn't look good. Thayer had been looking for that neck wrench all night, and he rode it to a championship, 8-5.
Well, there wasn't much separating those two opponents right there of just one big move, one big flurry, Tim.
Odebolt Arthur gets a state champion. Chris Thayer over Mount Air's Brett Shields. And 2A, we already told you, Trent Goodale Jr., undefeated from Osage, beats Brad Stockton from Williamsburg. And now we're in 3A, still going with 1:13 left in the match. The score is 9-3 in favor of Chad Davis from Council Bluffs Lewis Central. Will join it in progress. And that's Anthony Watson from Iowa City High in the red uniform, red ankle bands. That's Chad Davis in the blue uniform and green ankle bands.
Well, I think this is a little bit of an upset, Tim.
Well, I'll tell you, Chad Davis really had quite a match to get here.
Yeah.
He went behind with 30 seconds left last night, but came back and in the last 30 seconds pinned his opponent to get to the finals. There's Anthony Watson again.
He's coming back.
Boy,
He's
it's
doing
10-7.
Needs to do. And you can see that Chad Davis is kind of hanging his head a little bit here. He's got to stay in here and fight. And tell you what, Anthony Watson has done a good job of getting his faculties back together in this match. And you know, it was 8-0 at one time,
right.
And now it's 11-7.
11-7. Watson, whoa. There's some insurance policy right there. I think Chad Davis just sealed the deal. Unless he ends up on his back, Chad Davis goes out to a 13-7 lead. Davis from Council Bluffs Lewis Central, who's already clinched the title for Coach Keith Massey. Anthony Watson's going to be handed his first loss of the year in the state finals. Iowa City High.
Looks like Davis will be warned for stalling in the top position. He'll probably take that. Looks over at his coach, Keith Massey, and they're telling him to go ahead and ride him. Why not? He drops in on an ankle ride, but Watson does a good job of exploding, and you see his explosive power there. You can kind of tell what happened in this match, that Chad Davis just caught him in a headlock when he was coming in. And
it's a big one.
That's the difference in the match.
15-8. Chad Davis, Council Bluffs Lewis Central, the winner. That's their first state champion.
Lewis Central, what a team. Everybody back this year.
Yeah.
You know, everybody back next year, and 9 district champions and 4 finalists, and there's a happy dude.
Brad Smith, head coach Iowa City High, congratulating Chad Davis, who just beat his wrestler. Let's go to the awards.
East end of the auditorium. Presenting the Class 1A 112-pound awards, Coach Brian Reimers of Ogden. 6th place, Aaron Helmrich, North Lynn, Troy Mills. 5th place, Luke Four, Wapello. 4th place, Dustin Hinchberger, Belle Plaine. 3rd place, Mario Galanakis, Greenfield, Nottoway Valley. Runner-up, Justin McClintock, Eagle Grove. And the Class 1A 112-pound champion from Ogden, Jesse Sundell.
Jesse Sundell, you know, when you talk about that bull riding incident and his broken leg, that's a great comeback.
Well, it's a great comeback and a great story, and
we'll see him next year, hopefully.
Nice young man.
Presenting the Class 2A 112-pound awards, assistant coach and father, Tim Edelson of Hudson. 6th place, Grant Vanderheiden, West Central Stewart. 5th place, Judd Wagner, Beckman Dyersville. Fourth place, Willie Harris, Creston. Third place, Brian Dennis, Iowa Falls. Runner-up, Joe Hans, Louisa Muscatine. And the Class 2A 112-pound champion from Hudson, C.J. Edelson.
And you saw him receive a medal from his dad. I don't know of anything more exciting for a father than to hand the gold medal to your son as the champion. He's a freshman from Hudson, C.J. Edelson.
Presenting the Class 3A 112-pound awards, Coach Royce Duncan of Pleasant Valley. Sixth place, Travis Snover, Des Moines Lincoln. Fifth place, Sullivan Bacom, Des Moines North. Fourth place, Topher Ewing, Ankeny. Third place, Brian Hesinius, Lamars. Runner-up, Gabe Rosterman, Lewis Central. And the Class 3A 112-pound champion from Pleasant Valley, Nick Voss.
Let's go to Dean Borg.
At 119 pounds in AA, 2 unbeaten wrestlers went at it. Trent Goodale of Osage, though, is more experienced. His 3rd time here at the state tournament, and he decisioned Brad Stockton of Williamsburg 6-1. The champion, defending champion, and continuing champion, Trent Goodale of Osage. Joe?
Well, we got 3 weights down so far, and the first 2 weights in Class 2A were kind of low-scoring affairs, but now the offense is starting to pick up, so I anticipate a lot more offense, and it just goes to show that it's tough to be the first guy out of the gate.
All right, we're back at 125 pounds. Our last featured match in 1A for the evening, and we're going to have another rider from Don Bosco. Undefeated Joe Ryder, who was here last year. Controversial loss in the finals, and gets an opportunity to get to the top of that award stand again. He's up against Tyson Christensen from Lenox, and this is Lennox's first chance for a state champion. You also see 2A Josh Watts from Davenport Assumption, Michael Mickey, Creston, and then Zach Paulson from Cedar Rapids Kennedy going against Mark
Hansleben.
Hansleben, that's it. I knew you'd help me out there, Jim.
Well, the Christensen name has kind of been synonymous with wrestling in Southwest Iowa. Gary Christensen, the coach at Winterset. You remember Corey Christensen, right? The 3-time state champion, was his son. And then you got officials and Jim Christensen, and I mean, there's a whole family down there. And his dad is the assistant coach, Tom Christensen. So Tyson Christensen going against Joe Ryder. You mentioned the controversial match, a little bit of a question on the scoring last year on how that all transpired, and lost a close match. So Ryder in the right with the blue and gold, Don Bosco uniform, Christensen in the black.
And let's touch it. If Lenox is going to win the state championship, all 4 of their finalists, yes, I said 4. They have 4 finalists here, and that's quite an impressive showing. They only brought 5 wrestlers to the state championship, and they got 4 in the finals. If they all pin their opponents, and let's see, I think
They all pin their opponents. I think of the 2 Underwood finalists.
Right, and that's the next match coming up pretty soon. If the 2 Underwood finalists lose and Lenox pins all 4, they'll win the state championship. So as unlikely as it might be, it is possible. There's
tall order.
Aaron McGuire from Lenox. What a wonderful job he has done with this team.
Well, I tell you what, Tim, all of Southwest Iowa has gotten tougher in wrestling in the last few years. I mean, you saw Lewis Central's Council Bluffs. Now you're seeing Lenox with a nice performance. 4 finalists here. They've got. I've just been impressed with that whole region, and I think the clubs and the tough coaches that they've got in there, the good coaches they have in there, have really brought those programs along.
Well, you do. You point back to coaches like Keith Massey and Aaron McGuire and others who said, let's get this together and let's make Southwest Iowa a force. And like you said, we were talking before, there's some freestyle clubs and wrestling clubs that they kind of are all one down there, and they do a lot of traveling in the off season. And then you get a group like Council Bluffs, Lewis Central, being as dominant as they are, and it feeds, and other schools around there say, hey, we can be that in our class, and that's what Lennox is looking like this year.
Exactly right. I mean,
and Underwood. I mean, they're both from Southwest.
Right, and you're finding that these kids probably have more in common with the guy down the road over at another school than they probably with some of their high school classmates, and so they're doing things. They're going to tournaments, and there you see Christensen. He's gonna no points.
He did not give it to, and that takes guts, but it was a right call when you look back. The referee gave 2, waved it off, said there was no control. I thought there wasn't. I was wrong. I like that when it's the right call.
Well, Ryder did a good job with that front headlock position. You see him with his grip locked there on the outside of the arm. Now he's trying to attempt to break free from that position. And Christensen, he likes the Kelly Fireman series.
Here's the maneuver right here.
The left leg of Ryder.
2 right there.
Left leg elevates him through. All right, and that kept him from getting scored on. He used that elevator series where he puts the shoelace on the inside part of the leg and elevates his other man through to keep from getting scored on.
Good call by Glenn Wood from Centerville. He is the head official. In 2A, after the first period, the score is 4-1 in favor of Josh Watts from Davenport Assumption, who's undefeated, going against Michael Mickey from Creston. Josh Watts won as a freshman, didn't last year as a sophomore, back in the finals as a junior. And in 3A, the score is 2-0 in favor of Mark Hansleben, who's headed for Lehigh University. Wrestled for a friend, Greg Strobel, the head coach out there, going to leave Iowa and wrestle for Lehigh. Hansleben from Urbandale leading 2-0 over Zach Paulson from Cedar Rapids Kennedy.
There's a warning on Christensen. Ryder's got the working a double overhook, and Christensen got the warning basically because for backing out a little bit there. So Ryder has a 2-0 lead. You see Christensen a little frustrated. Now he's working in on the underhook series, coming into the single leg. Look at Ryder go ahead and trap those arms. And now he comes in a snap. That was a beautiful series there, Tim. Whip. Didn't quite get it.
Still only 2-0 in favor of Ryder.
Now remember, his younger brother has just won a state championship, so he's going out there to prove that he can do it too.
His younger brother is the one that proved that you never give up. You never give up, because he won right at the last to take it into overtime, or score right at the last to take it into overtime at 103, and then won in overtime. Aaron McGuire, the head coach for 20 years at Lennox.
There's a spin around attempt after the Ryder shot by Christensen from Lennox. And Tim, I don't bring this up. You know, it was a controversial match last year, and you could really sense the emotion when Don Mashik was talking about Joe Ryder, and not Dan Mashik, you know, in that situation, and how it affected his spring, you know, trying to come back, and probably wasn't the same guy for a while, you know, been all the way to the state finals and didn't get to come home with a championship, but he's given up a takedown right here, so that ties it up with 20 seconds left. Does a good job of popping up. Now he's going to try throwing a technique, that neck wrench that we saw before, but Christensen does a good job of locking his arms. Oh,
well, you just saw in 2A, you just saw Josh Watts jump in the arms of his coach, Wade King, from Davenport Assumption, because Josh Watts just completed a 45-0 campaign, winning his second state title as a junior. Won it as a freshman, now wins it again as a junior, as he pinned Michael Mickey from Creston in 2A. In 3A, score is 4-0 in favor of Hansleben from Urbandale over Paulson from Cedar Rapids Kennedy, and there's 11 seconds left in the second period. And here the score is 3-2 in favor of Ryder over Christensen with 1 period left. We're in the last period, and it's a close match.
Ryder basically.
Now it's 3-3.
Yeah, look for the cradle right there. It wasn't quite there, and he went ahead and decided to have this match settled on the feet. So, see, Tyson Christensen likes to work that underhook. He's got the tie he wants. He reaches in for a high crotch series, trying to slide by, running out of real estate there with 1:33, you see, left in the third period. Half attempt by, single leg attempt by Ryder. Now they're locked in there. There's that Kelly series there that Christensen likes. Now a roll through. Boy, that's a dangerous technique to hit at this stage of the match. He's going with some really flunk. He comes over, gets the leg
He's
in.
got it hooked.
He got the 2
wow,
points in
he finally got it.
Hey.
Boy, he was looking for that all night too.
I tell you what, 3-3 though. You always don't see that Chinese roll, and now he's got him on his back really tight.
I mean, if you know, that's one to remember if he ends up winning a state title here, to win it with that move.
What a beautiful series, though. He had the front headlock, rolled through, and then stepped around and got the leg in, and then put Christensen in a world of hurt here.
If you're Coach Mashik, you're saying ride him right there. Ride him right there.
And you say, why? Tyson tried one time. Christensen tried to go the other direction. But all it did was made the move a little bit tighter, and there's the fall.
Well, that's coming all the way back, like you said, from a disappointing, controversial loss last year. Joe Ryder matches his brother.
Leg bangs.
And there's a happy Ryder family tonight.
Oh, 2 state champions.
Two state champions.
Can't be a better feeling for that family. And you got to feel good for this young man. And lost a controversial match last year. No, I hate to dwell on that, but that lingers with you. You know, now he's able to answer it with a championship and left no doubt there with that fall, Tim.
No, he didn't. That's a big way to win, and so he joins Josh Watts, who just won his 2A with a big pin, and now we have Hans Laban out to a 7-0 lead, and so it's these champions at 125 are making it decisive, and you're looking at Mark Hans Laban from Urbandale going against Zach Paulson from Cedar Rapids Kennedy, and you can see the score. You see the red and green arrows. Hans Laban really pounding his opponent right here. And
well, he's been dominant all year, Tim, in this weight class, and there's no secret why he's getting attention. He spent 3 times in the finals here. He lost a tight match his sophomore year, then won again last year in a tight match, and now he's proving why he's one of the better college prospects to come out of Iowa this year. Going to Lehigh.
Yes.
Is that official?
Yes, he's going to Lehigh to wrestle for Greg Strobel, one of the Olympic coaches, along with Dan Gable and John Smith. Oh, there's a fall. I don't know if you, oh no. Yeah, it is. I don't know how many times you see 3 falls in the same weight class in the state finals. Yep. Not often.
Hans Laban looked a little surprised there. Rodney Erlewine on the call there. Nice way to finish out your high school career there. Mark Hans Laban, the champion.
There he is, jumping into the arms of his coach.
You never get tired of looking at that, Tim.
No.
You know, the emotion that these fellows go through all year, and the time that these coaches put into their athletes, and that's the big payoff.
Let's go to the awards.
Coach Al Schmidt of Oleboat Arthur. 6th place, Jeremy Johnson, Clarksville. 5th place, Gary Spencer, Bedford. 4th place, Andy Bremer, Woodbury Central, Moville. 3rd place, Chris Helgeson, Lake Mills. Runner-up, Brett Shields, Mount Ayr. And the Class 1A 119-pound champion from Oleboat Arthur, Chris Thayer.
Happy young man.
The big 5-point move was the difference there.
Presenting the Class 2A 119-pound awards, Coach Brent Jennings of Osage. 6th place, Adam Grell, Central Clinton DeWitt. 5th place, Kyle Taylor, Wilton. 4th place, Mitch Smolek, South Tama County. 3rd place, Michael Billings, Clear Lake. Runner-up, Brad Stockton, Williamsburg. And the Class 2A 119-pound champion from Osage, Trent Goodale.
Trent Goodale finishing 41-0 for Osage. That was Brent Jennings giving him the gold medal as a 2A 119-pound champion.
The 2nd champion from Osage tonight. Go along with the 103-pounder, Dusty Paulson.
And Osage going into 2nd place with
the
that.
Class 3A 119-pound awards, Coach Keith Massey of Lewis Central Council Bluffs. Sixth place, Aaron Moreland, Southeast Polk Reynolds. Fifth place, Gary Christensen, Valley, West Des Moines. Fourth place, Andre Vandervelde, Council Bluffs, Abe Lincoln. Third place, Steve Young, Ankeny. Runner-up, Anthony Watson, Iowa City, City High. And the Class 3A 119-pound champion from Lewis Central, Council Bluffs, Chad Davis.
Let's go to Dean Borg.
Well, Tim, in AA at 125 pounds, for Mike Mickey, a senior from Creston, it was deja vu. Last year, he made it to the quarterfinals here, but he was pinned by Josh Watts, as Watts went on to be a state champion at 103 pounds. Well, Watts repeated that with a fall today over Mike Mickey. Watts is the champion in AA at 125 pounds. Watts from Davenport Assumption. Joe?
In class 3 at 125 pounds, it was Zach Paulson of Kennedy going up against a top recruit here for the college prospects, and Mark Hengelsman of Urbandale. He's the defending state champion. He got a fall here tonight, making that 2 in a row. That's Mark Hengelsman, the defending champion.
Thanks, Joe. And that is not an easy name because Jim's the one that got it right, and that's Hans Laban. And he is an impressive young champion and with a great college future in front of him. Now we're going to start at 130 pounds. See the IHSAA rotation for the next 4 matches. We'll be in 2A, 130 through 145. And at 130, we're looking at Mitch Preston and Taylor Wood. Mitch Preston, well, we're gonna look at him. You're also seeing that Jeff Harrison and Dan Ebling from Westwood, Sloan, and Green will go at it 1A, and then City High will go against Des Moines Lincoln with Corey Connell from Iowa City High to Adam Olaby from Des Moines Lincoln. Let's get used to the black mat there. We're off the red one now. We're in 2A, and we're looking at the team that's going to take home the trophy in 2A. Emmitsburg, Armstrong, Ringstead. Mitch Peterson, whoa! I'll tell you what, this is wild already. Mitch Preston, in the red band with the black and gold uniform, and then Taylor Wood from Sheraton in the green band and the red uniform.
Well, Preston's a pinner, and he finds himself in a little bit of a tough situation right here. Preston from Emmitsburg, he's on his back.
And he scored.
Looks like the referee's going to go ahead. No points. There, referee Jim Gray. I think that's the right call there.
Rich Gray,
excuse me.
Who just got an award and went into the Officials Hall of Fame.
You see Woods has the legs in and scissors, and they're going to call that illegal. You call it a figure 4 on the body.
So that's 1 point penalty, and now the score is 2-1 in favor of Taylor Wood from Sheraton. His record's 35-1. Mitch Preston from Emmitsburg, Armstrong, Ringstead, 36-2.
Mitch Preston's a pinner. He's got 38 pins last year, 34 pins this year, so wow. That's a lot of pins.
That's a lot of pins.
Finds himself in the down position here. Taylor Wood, he's got a far side cradle locked.
He's going after him, isn't he?
He really is.
Now he's scoring points. There's a 3-point near fall. 40-some seconds left in the first period. And that makes the score, it will make the score 5-1.
Taylor Wood must have some type of grip because Preston was in a position to be able to get out of that, and he couldn't pull it off.
In 3A, you're looking at Gary Connell versus Adam Olaby, and the score is 2-0 in favor of the City High wrestler Connell. He's riding the Des Moines Lincoln wrestler. Whoa, again.
You can see how he's elevating that Preston's right leg. That's helping him in this technique. He's trapping the hips, and then once you got those hips frozen, comes up to the half Nelson, so he's going way out here, 8-1.
At the end of the first period.
Here's the first set of near fall points here off the far side cradle. Nothing real fancy here, but he comes up and sits out, and then he bumps him over. See, he bumped him over on his left hip there, and that allowed him to get the points. And look how strong that grip is, because that looked like Preston was in position. He could have broke that. Wood did a good job of holding on.
So this would be, if you were coaching the wrestler Taylor Wood from Sheraton, you'd want to say there's one position now we have got to get out of, and that's on the bottom of this pinner, Preston. And so Preston starts on top.
He's got Wood. And Preston has a lot of what we call flunk. He's comfortable down here on his rear end, which is where he is right now. Now coming up, Taylor Wood working it. Wouldn't be surprised.
No change yet, no change yet.
Hasn't called any points. Now's her cradle.
Yeah, he's trying to lock that up. Scores 6-1 in 3A, 6-1 in favor of Connell from Iowa City.
Look at this. He's got it tight. This is tight.
Whoa.
You saw that move made famous by Ben Shane at Wartburg, the Division III national champion. Same technique, and these guys pick it up pretty quick.
Yeah, they see it and they work it. In 1A, you're seeing that Danny Ebling from Green is in trouble.
Now look what he's setting up here. He's trying to trap that head and arm, and he's going to try to roll through. He's going to, once he rolls through, he's going to reach through with the left arm and try to get Wood's left leg. So he's in the top position here. It doesn't look like it, but he's got control. Wood does a good job of getting his arm across. That stopped the technique right there. So 10-1 lead, 28 seconds left in the period.
Go guys, just work it.
And this isn't just a, this is a 10-1 lead, but Preston's always in it if he's got those, flunky type techniques. So.
That's right, always in it. You're seeing in 1A, Jeff Harrison trying to go for his third state title. He's 44-0 from Westwood Sloan, and he's got a 9-2 lead going into the third period now.
Dan McCool mentioned Jeff Harrison. He's out there in Western Iowa, doesn't get a lot of publicity, but
you're down, Red. Third period.
Put up that type of record and that type of career, have a chance of winning 3 state titles.
Looking at Bob Kenny there, the coach at Emmetsburg. Armstrong Ringstead, the 2A coach of the year.
What a move by Emmetsburg to bring Armstrong Ringstead into the program here. All 3 finalists are from Armstrong. 2 Stern brothers and Mitch Preston.
So it truly is Emmetsburg, Armstrong, Ringstead. A shared wrestling program.
Man, Mitch Preston having a little trouble here. Boy, Taylor Wood has just been relentless on top. He's got the takedown, and he's got everything else has been near falls.
12-1.
8 points in near falls here today in this match. Really been dominant.
Go guys, let's work, let's finish this work, let's go.
You hear the voice of Rich Gray there, trying to get both wrestlers come on.
Just right it. Gotta use it. There we go.
Taylor looked up at Rich Gray and says, I've just scored 12 points.
Yeah, I was going to say.
8 of them by near fall.
8 near falls. He just got off doing that, and he says, you're just riding it. I would look a little.
The evidence looks otherwise.
Stall, let's work, man. Finish hard. Watch the elbow.
But a referee has 2 chances here to get action going without affecting the match, and that stalling call didn't affect the match, and trying to keep the pace up. So now Taylor Wood's getting a little bit high, but he keeps that leg in, keeps his hips up on top. He's going to try to get off his rear end here. Now he posts his hand on the mat to allow him to get his hips, scoot the hips back up on top.
And at 1A, Jeff Harrison going for his 3rd state title is ahead 10-2. He's in the blue suit up there against green Danny Ebling. Jeff Harrison right there looking, he shoots in and looking to try to seal the deal with 25 seconds left. He's up 10-2. Going to win his 3rd state title if it stays like this.
And in 3A, Corey Connell from Iowa City High is going to win an 11-2 decision over Adam Olaby from the Des Moines Lincoln. So champion at 3A is Corey Connell. So
he was undefeated this year, 37-0. Whoa.
And there you see the finish of our 1A match, or 2A match. It was all Taylor Wood. He won all the scrambles.
Yes, he did. And he wins it. Taylor Wood finishes a 36-1 year, 36 wins against only 1 loss. And Jeff Harrison, you see the hand raised right there. Jeff Harrison wins his 3rd title. Undefeated this year, 45-0.
Jumping into his coach's arms.
Chad Shook.
See Taylor Wood walking off the mat. What a dominant performance he had in the top position.
At the east end of the auditorium. Presenting the Class 1A 125-pound awards, Coach Dan Mashik of Gilbertville, Don Bosco. 6th place, Tyler Greaser, Ogden. 5th place, Jason Reeks, Turkey Valley, Jackson Junction. 4th place, Kurt McGonigal, Eagle Grove. 3rd place, Tyson Veet, Odebolt Arthur. Runner-up, Tyson Christensen, Lennox. And the Class 1A 125-pound champion from Gilbertville, Don Bosco, Joe Ryder.
What a night for the Ryder family.
Yeah, there's a smile of a happy young man who's finishing 365 days of making a bad memory into a good one.
Presenting the Class 2A 125-pound awards, Coach Wade King of Davenport Assumption. 6th place, Scott Michaels, Osage. 5th place, Wes Anderson, Maquoketa Valley, Delhi. 4th place, Alex Grunder, Wilton. 3rd place, Josh Atwell, Perry. Runner-up, Michael Mickey, Creston. And the Class 2A 125-pound champion from Davenport Assumption, Josh Watts.
Two-timer with another year left.
Won by fall. What a dominant year he had.
Presenting the Class 3A 125-pound awards, Coach Wes Bohm of Urbandale. 6th place, Patrick Allabone, Keelan. 5th place, Kyle Billups, North Scott Eldridge. 4th place, Mike Foster, Oskaloosa. 3rd place, Kelly Gray, West Des Moines Dowling. Runner-up, Zach Paulson, Cedar Rapids Kennedy. And the Class 3A 125-pound champion from Urbandale, Mark Honsleben.
Way to go, Mark. Two-time champion. Let's go to Joe.
In Class 3A at 130 pounds, it was Corey Connell, a senior from Iowa City High, defeating Adam Olaby of Des Moines Lincoln. The score was 11-2.
In Class A, at 130 pounds, 3-time state champion Jeff Harrison of Westwood Sloan. 3 takedowns in the first period, went on to score a 12-2 decision over Danny Ebling of Green. Jeff, your coach tells me, your coach Chad Schuck tells me that you love to break an opponent mentally and then score big. What did you do tonight to break Danny Ebling mentally?
I think I dominated him on my feet. I went out there, felt real comfortable on my feet. I just felt like I could set up a shot and finish it. I went out there and dominated him. I think
those 3 takedowns in the first period, is that what you mean by breaking him mentally?
Yeah, I think once you establish dominance on your feet, you can beat anyone. Take him down, let him go, whatever it takes.
Congratulations on those 3 state titles.
Thank you.
On to more. Tim?
Well, thank you, Dean. It's not hard to see why he was a champion, right?
He's all fired up, and you got to be excited for him.
Well, let's look at the 135 match. Garrett Kozik from Belle Plaine against Nick Cole from Highland. Dustin Blyven from Louisa Muscatine. Tim Halligan from Independence. Trent Paulson from Lewis Central. And Ryan Heim from Dubuque Hempstead. And we're going to go to 2A. And look at that. You can see 1A up in the red mat and 3A on the blue mat on the inserts there.
And I think you better watch this match awful quick here. Dustin Blyven in the black uniform. He's giving up a duck under, but he loves to throw. Watch these hips. He's not threatened by this bear hug at all. He may give up the points.
He hasn't given up the points yet, have they?
Well, no, they haven't, but he likes this. This is going to be a great matchup here. Tim Halligan from Independence.
Very strong.
Very strong. Yeah, they did give up the points.
They did. Halligan is tough. He is he's a strong opponent for Blevin.
Yep, there's the switch attempt, Tim. He's got Halligan in a position where he had his head hit the mat and he gave up the reversal. That's the 2 points. Calling it a little quick here, but now a lot of scoring, and there's going to be a lot of scoring in this one.
4-2 in favor of Halligan from Independence. Halligan's 41-1. Blevin is 47-0 for L&M, Louisa Muscatine.
Blevin really likes to mix it up. He likes to get in the scramble situations. He keeps a high-paced match. I was really enthused when I knew that we'd be doing this match here, but I knew there'd be a high pace all the way through, and you see Blevin coming up into the headlock there, and he hasn't got it though. Halligan doing a great job. Now he gets back into a bear hug situation and keeps control. So look at all the action we've seen, and there's 45 seconds left in the first period.
Blevin's only a junior. He's, like we said, he's 47-0, going against Halligan, who is a senior, 41-1.
Doing a good job, Halligan, of controlling that arm, and now he's got the bar arm. I think it'd be big for him if he kept that bar arm and stayed behind the hips. That's what he's trying to do. He had the arm behind the back like he has there and got him flattened out. That's good technique. Now he's pulling it back, so be careful not to have it called potentially dangerous. And that's a situation where he allowed that wrist to get up and
there's Tom Mashik, Dan Mashik's son, who is coaching down at Louisa Muscatine.
Tom had 2 finalists here today for Louisa Muscatine. Now a throw situation here for Blevins.
No, Halligan's doing a nice job of taking his hips away. I mean,
yes, he is.
Here's the team standings. Underwood, 111.5. Don Bosco, 93. Lennox, 88.5. Bosco up into second place. Emmetsburg already clinched the title. Osage in second place. That's by way of 2 champions. And 3A, Lewis Central, Iowa City High, Sioux City Heelan, and Council Bluffs Lincoln.
And Sioux City Heelan has a chance of taking home a trophy today, and that's the first time that's ever happened for a Sioux City school.
I've noticed Heelan, they have had a presence here at this championship the last few days.
So Halligan in the down position gets the escape, so he's down, or he's up 5-2. Now he comes in on a double leg. He has the position here, but Blevins is doing a good job of circling around the corner. Watch the point of the left shoulder, and I tell you what, Halligan did a great job of keeping his left shoulder in there. You look at the left shoulder, if that falls to the outside, it's Blevins' advantage here. Did a nice job of staying in there. A 5-2 score. Halligan in a shot again. Likes that single leg series. Now you see the switch again. He just keeps on scooting. Watch his right foot. Keeps on scooting that right foot around, sliding up underneath. It's really making it tough. And if he locks the leg, he's just got the leg over the leg. If he locks that leg, scoops the leg up, he's got a chance of scoring the points here. Let's see what Halligan's doing here. He's got the head down, up underneath the kneecap, and that's going to give a stalemate situation.
Score is still 5-2 in favor of Halligan. 5-2 in 3A. Score is 4-2 in favor of Heim from Dubuque against Paulson from Lewis Central. Both undefeated wrestlers from 3A. And in 1A, the score is 2-0 in favor of Nick Cole from Highland Riverside over Garrett Kozik from Belle Plaine.
Halligan in this match has done a good job of driving into those single legs. Now here's a throw situation, again by Blevin. He just lives with that throw every time. You see him there coming back to the center. Halligan, a real physical wrestler. Constantly likes to be on the attack.
Score is now 4-3 in 3A between Heim from Dubuque Hempstead leading Paulson from Lewis Central Council Bluffs. 4-3 and with the second period running down.
Halligan doing a good job of keeping position here. Blevin on the left, wants to go upper body, wants to get the throw, but he's not getting much of an opportunity because Halligan's making him pick his spots.
Here's your returning 2A champs, Hans, Goodale, Pape, Hayes. There's a lot of them in 2A.
Cole Pape from Maquoketa wasn't successful here in defending his championship, so his title. You see Bliven, Weiza Muscatine, Dustin Bliven, he's in the down position now, down 5-2. Escape takedown can put him back in it. But I'm really impressed with Tim Halligan here, just really controlling the hips. Hasn't allowed himself to get into any of these big scramble situations. Comes off to the double leg attempt here. Run out of space there, but Halligan at this point with a 3-0 or 3-point lead is just trying to be disciplined, not give up any big moves.
And with Blevin, it could happen anytime.
It really could. I mean, he's at his spots. He's working in that switch position again. And Halligan
really doing a great job of controlling the hips, the power of the wrestler.
You see, that time he put the top of his shoulder back into the hips, and Blevin had to give up on that position. And now he's coming back to that chicken wing ride. Switch attempt again by Blevin. He's really done a good job of frustrating Blevin.
In 1A, Nick Cole from Highland Riverside wins the championship.
Now Hogan's got to be careful here. 43 seconds left. He's got to still stay fairly aggressive. He doesn't want to give up a stall warning. He's really staying behind the hips, but he's got the wrist trap there.
There was a jump up in 1A into Coach Sean Creeman's arms right there. Happy champion. In 3A, the score is 7-3 in favor of Heim from Dubuque Hempstead over Paulson from Council Bluffs Lewis Central with 12 seconds left. And it looks like the Hempstead Grappler is going to win a state championship and keep a undefeated year.
And there you see Tim Halligan doing a great job of just riding those hips, controlling, and Blevin has really dominated a lot of his opponents this year. Got him into scramble situations. He's not gonna, Halligan's not gonna play that game with him, so great job of sticking with the strategy, and there you have your champion, Tim Halligan from Independence.
You got your champion there from Independence in 2A, and the Mustang from Dubuque Hempstead, Ryan Heim, finishes 37-0 and wins a big state championship. There he's, his hand getting raised by Mike Exline, and he's jumping into Coach Haas's arms right there. And there's Halligan from Independence with his coaches.
Great job, very disciplined style. And Dustin Blevin is a 47-0 record walking into this tournament, so he's a pretty tough hombre.
Presenting the Class 1A 130-pound awards, Coach Chad Shook of Sloan Westwood. Sixth place, Brian Hickman, West Marshall State Center. Fifth place, Kelly Rydberg, Shaler Cressland. Fourth place, Chad Udish, Akron Westfield. Third place, Brian Hirschberger, Gilbertville Don Bosco. Runner-up, Danny Ebling, Green. And the Class 1A 130-pound champion from Sloan Westwood, Jeff Harrison.
Jeff Harrison, three-time state champion. You notice we get quiet when the awards come because we want everyone out there to hear every name of the top 6 places in each weight class. That's 18 in each weight class, the pride of their communities. And like Jim mentioned in the opening, there's not just 39 champions, they're all champions.
Presenting the Class 2A 130-pound awards, Coach Andrew Foose of Sheraton. Sixth place, Jason Black, Glenwood. Fifth place, Scott Truca, Crestwood Cresco. Fourth place, Eric Bonts, Independence. Third place, Trevor Arbogast, Davenport Assumption. Runner-up, Mitch Preston, Emmitsburg. And the Class 2A 130-pound champion from Sheraton, Taylor Wood. Presenting the Class 3A 130-pound awards, Coach Brad Smith of Iowa City City High. 6th place, Josh Peterson, Clinton. 5th place, Travis Paulson, Lewis Central, Council Bluffs. 4th place, Jim Tripp, Council Bluffs, Abe Lincoln. 3rd place, Brett Stedman, Heelan. Runner-up, Adam Olaby, Des Moines, Lincoln. And the Class 3A 130-pound champion from Iowa City City High, Corey Connell.
Corey Connell, the winner, being embraced by Brad Smith, his coach. Let's go to Dean.
Well, Tim, at 135 pounds in Class A, Nick Cole of Highland Riverside, the small district south of Iowa City. 2nd time here at the state tournament. Tonight he's a state champion. Closed his high school career with the state championship. Nick Cole of Highland Riverside putting together 2 takedowns to decision. Garrett Kozik of Belle Plaine 4-1. Joe?
In 135 pounds in Class 3A, it was a battle of 2 undefeated wrestlers. Trent Paulson of Council Bluff Lewis Central versus Ryan Heim of Dubuque Hempstead. Heim was able to defend his state championship, completing the season undefeated as he wins 9-4 with 3 takedowns.
Hey, thanks a lot, Joe and Dean. Now we're at 140 pounds. 2A, here we go, 1A, Little and Buttress. In 2A, Mellert and Busmus. And then Wise and Winky. We'll be looking at 2A between Bart Mellert and Union LaPorte City, who's trying to get into that 2nd place spot in the team rankings. And here we go. That's Mellert, 36-0. He's in the red band, the red uniform, in on the single leg. Going against Dustin Busmus from Norwalk.
Dustin Busmus is trying to become the 2nd wrestler since his father to win a state championship for Norwalk. His father won a championship back in 1974, so had big shoes to fill. See Busmus doing a good job with his front quarter. Nelson trying to ward off the shot. Mellert now almost a headlock type attempt of it. You see Mellert likes to work in a free tie up here. He just not setting up, working for a low single. Referee John Monroe. Also into the Officials Hall of Fame.
Offense, guys, let's go.
Both wrestlers working off a free tie-up now, like to touch and go. You see about 2 or 3 feet of space between the two of them. They're trying to look at each other's feet. Oh, nice slide by attempt by Busmus. Wasn't there. Now a high crotch attempt by Mellert. Both athletes at this weight class have a real good head-hands defense. They're not giving up head position. There's a slide-by attempt there again by Busmus.
A little bit of action, but no score as we wind down in the 1st period of this 2A matchup at 140 pounds. 4 seconds left. Nope. There's 5 seconds as they went off the mat. The scorekeeper kind of went asleep at the wheel and let the time run on out. 5 seconds left, and score is 0-0.
Okay, here we go, guys.
In 1A, Jeremiah Buttress is up 4-2 over Brett Little from Tri-County Thornburg. Buttress from Lisbon trying to win his 2nd state title.
Good choice right here, partner.
There's
Green's going neutral. Give me Green.
Tim Hill.
Coach Tim Hill from Norwalk, yelling encouragement to Dustin Busmus. Union LaPorte City trying to get back into second place ahead of Osage for that second place silver trophy in 2A. A win here would put them back in front. Yep, good call by the referee right there.
It's just off the mat. He just didn't have enough real estate to work there, but that was the first time you see an athlete put two moves together there, Tim, in that match. And I think that's what you're going to have to do to break through these defenses. Both athletes have good head-hands defense. Tough to score on them, particularly from the free tie-ups, but you saw Mellert there put two shots together, just ran out of room.
Green stalling, Green, let's go, bud.
Yep, there's a shot by Mellert. He's on a single leg this time. He lifts up, pops his hips in.
Good hips by Busmus there, keeping him from accomplishing what he went after at the first.
Now Busmus keeping the pressure on here. Mellert putting the pressure on, with the front headlock position. Now Kelly Fireman's attempt. He's going to get back points off this.
Oh, here we go. 4-2.
Yep.
The big, in 1A, you see Jeremiah Buttress.
And here's the replay of the technique used by Busmus here. He's down in here, giving up the front headlock position, but notice how he keeps that right arm tight. He has the left arm trapped. He comes in,
nice
the fire, but it goes right to the half Nelson, Tim. Gets the back points.
Very aggressive 4-point move there. Jeremiah Buttress from Lisbon jumps into Dean Happel's arms and wins it for Lisbon. And now the score in 3A is 4-3 in favor of Winkie over Wise. Winkie from Ames leading Wise from Harlan.
Mellert answered with a reversal in this match, so it's 4-2 with 22 seconds left.
Pick up the action.
Busmus, the beneficiary of that 4-2 score.
Okay, Red.
And that lead for Winkie from Ames wasn't long because he's in trouble against Wise from Harlan up in the 3A insert.
There's a power half by Mellert. Oh, that's strong. I think he got 2-point near Paul. And then he got it again. Whoa, what a tough job.
Whoa.
Got that tight.
Into the second period comes, and we've seen some action in the score. Well, we've got to make sure, but I think he might have got 5 points there. Did he? 2 and 3?
It's going to be 7-4, I believe.
That's what, right now they have 5-4, and nobody's arguing.
So instead of giving the 2 back points, they end up giving just 3 back points. I thought it was almost a 2 and 3 situation there for a second, but good call.
5-4. 6-4 now.
Yeah, so 9 points scored in that second period, Tim. Scoreless first period, and they really got it going there in the second.
They had each other in a lot of trouble, both of them. Score is 8-6 in favor of David Wise from Harlan over Brandon Winkie from Ames in 3A. Winkie's undefeated, but his record is a little unusual. It's 11-0. So he hasn't been in the lineup all that much, the Ames wrestler.
I think he had a hernia problem earlier in the year and sat out quite a few matches. And
Let's work, gentlemen, let's go.
you see our match right here with Busmus and Mellert. You see Mellert's kind of coming out of his stance here a little bit, but Busmus not really doing anything to threaten him here. Busmus wants to probably work from the tie-up position. That's where he got that Kelly Fireman's carry to jump out to a 4-0 lead, but it's been all Mellert since then. A reversal, takedown, and actually a reversal and back points.
Let's go, bud, your button hair, let's go.
One for red for Mellert. They said that Busmus is stalling.
Yeah, and I think that he's not really presenting himself in this position, so he's going to fall behind 7-4.
Let's go. You gotta mix it up in here, guys.
There's
Let's
Dick
go.
Enville, longtime coach at LaPorte and at Union of LaPorte City. 24 years there, 27 years as a head coach.
There's a slide-by attempt by Busmus. And that's a great call there. They called it a fleeing the mat call on Mellert.
Explain that, Jim.
Well, he basically didn't try to present himself, didn't try to counter it. He just ran off the mat. So they called a fleeing the mat call instead of the takedown. And that's a 1-point move. So the score is 7-5 with 33 seconds left in the period.
Let's go.
Actually the match. And so here you see Mellert, who's leading this match at this point, dropping back in on the single. Comes back with a drag attempt. Busman's got to recognize he's down here. Got to get some offense generated.
Stalling, right here, partner, let's go.
Miller just got called for stalling. He's got the lead. Now Busman's being aggressive. He's got to try to get a shot off. And what a good job that Miller's doing with his head-hands defense. He's staying in there, presenting himself, moving his feet. And he's your champion.
Yep, Mellert wins it for Union LaPorte City.
That helped them for their team race, Tim.
That's right. We'll give you an update on the team race here in just a few moments, but there he is. And Union LaPorte City has another one coming up in Trey Clark a little later.
Bart Miller likes that. He's nodding his head. He likes it.
So that brings him closer, Union LaPorte City. I was wrong. Osage still has a lead of about 1.5 points for second place, but Trey Clark is still waiting to wrestle for Union LaPorte City. So that's a big battle for second and third in 2A. And here's 3A. The winner from Ames came back after falling behind.
Brandon Winkie, the 140-pound state champion in Class 3A.
Thanks a lot, Joe and Dean. And we're going to get this 2A thing figured out. Now I do see that Union LaPorte City has gone ahead for second place ahead of Osage. Here's your 145-pound matchups. Chris Wernemont, Pocahontas, trying to become the first state champion from Pocahontas against Delagardelle from Don Bosco. Pearl from West Liberty versus Sturm and Emmetsburg. We're going to see that in our feature. And then Davis from Dubuque Senior against Johnny Galloway Jr. from Waterloo East. You're looking at another Emmetsburg, Armstrong, Ringstead, and the first of two Sturms in the finals for the Emmetsburg team. He's 43-0, and he just got taken down by Keith Pearl, who is 45-0. Two undefeated wrestlers. We've got a good one right here, Jim.
Well, this will be a barn burner. Both athletes about the same body style. They get after it. Now you see Pearl in a Turk position, and Sturm does a good job of fighting that off. Sturm with it looks like Pearl wants to go on his feet. He let Sturm up, so he wants to go on his feet. Now a whip over attempt here by Sturm off a Pearl shot. He's got him tight.
Whoa.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much power in the first period to be able to hit that technique, and now Pearl finishes off on a double leg or high crotch attempt, goes up 4-1.
4-1 in favor of Pearl from West Liberty, trying to give his coach a good going out of coaching present. Kirk Deemer has decided to hang it up in his coaching duties at West Liberty, and he's done an outstanding job at West Liberty for the Comets. 45-0, Keith Pearl trying to win a state championship.
Well, and there you saw Sturm get a little bit off balance. Now he gave up almost a cradle situation. Did a good job of coming back to his feet to get neutral.
Circle back, guys.
Referees Gene Luttrell.
There's Bob Kenny, 2A Coach of the Year from Emmetsburg Armstrong Ringstead.
So you've got Sturm. What a great story these Sturm brothers are. You know, they're from Armstrong, which is basically 28 miles away from Emmetsburg. And they have a shared program, and these fellas drive 40 minutes because they live about 12 miles on the outside of Armstrong. So they drive 40 minutes. Classes get out at 3:15 at Emmetsburg, and they wait till 4 o'clock, and you can see why, for these Sturm brothers to show up and get going.
And let's clarify, it is a shared program. Two different high schools, but the same wrestling program as allowed by the IHSA. End of the first period, scores 4-2 in favor of Keith Pearl. There's your 2A standings, and you can see it for yourself. Emmetsburg, of course, the winner. LaPorte, Union LaPorte City ahead for second place, 83. Osage, 80.5, and Creston, 61.
Looks like Pearl chose the neutral position there, so he's up 4-2. He wants to wrestle this match on his feet.
Pearl finished third last year at 140.
Nice double leg attempt by Pearl, but he lost position, and now Sturm's doing a good job of sliding down and getting his hips away. He's working into a front headlock series here. He has, look at his right arm, working back into an underhook.
back, guys.
Referee Gene Luttrell is going to call it off the mat. So, going to get a new start. Been impressed to this point, Tim, with Pearl's shots. I mean, he's gotten right after it here. He wants to be the aggressor on the feet. So both athletes kind of measuring each other up. You've got a double leg attempt, so high crotch switch to a double, pops his hips in. Sturm's a tall drink of water, so he had to really get another extra bite in there. Lift him up. Now he switches off to a half Nelson. And he's
got it in trouble. Whoop.
Sturm did a nice job of fighting that off because that was extremely tight.
Score 6-2.
I've been impressed with Keith Pearl at this point. He's had a strategy to go out there and wrestle this thing on the feet.
We're looking at 2 undefeated wrestlers here. Combination of 88 wins, no losses this year. Here's the replay.
Now he gets in a high crotch, immediately switches off to the double. You see him come off to both legs. Now he lifts up here one time, but Sturm's tall, and he comes back in and steps in and goes for the far Turk. Nice series there, a lot of determination.
In 3A, the score's 5-2. Johnny Galloway Jr. from Waterloo East, undefeated, is leading Matt Davis from Dubuque Senior, 5-2 with 30 seconds left in the second period.
You can see Sturm got the escape.
Circle in now.
Pearl wants to wrestle this match on the feet the whole time.
Keep it in the middle, guys.
In 1A, end of the second period, Della Gardell from Don Bosco's leading Wernemont from Pocahontas 8-1. 8-1 with 1 period left.
There's a drag attempt right at the end of the period here by Sturm, but he's not going to have enough time to finish it. So going to the next period here, third period. Sturm will take the down position. He's trailing 6-3.
Okay, Red.
But he's just an escape takedown from getting back into this match, Tim.
Yep. One escape takedown, and we're tied 6-6. And yet Keith Pearl looks like he's strong. He doesn't look like he's tired out or anything. He's been a good match so far between these 2 undefeated wrestlers.
And I don't think you'll see Pearl work too hard here in the top position.
Because he's liked the feet so much, right?
He likes the way this match is going. I mean, he's taken Sturm down 3 times, so I think he likes his chances up here on the feet. But Sturm's not really coming up into anything very explosive, so there it is. Now he drops in on that shot. Sturm does a nice job of switching. He looks like he may get at least a reversal. Yep, or escape.
You didn't get him behind until they went off the line.
You hear the explanation. He didn't get around behind him until they crossed the line. I think Gene did a great job of making that call there. Great position to make the call.
6-4, and here we're right where you said. Now, with Sturm, has 1:08 left to do his work to try to get a takedown to tie it up.
Now, here's the situation in the match, Tim, where I think it's too early for Pearl to be defensive. You got a minute left in the match, and way too early for Pearl to go on the defensive and wait for Sturm to attack.
And he just warned Pearl for stalling. A stall call and a takedown could win it for Sturm.
Right. Oh, now there's a drag attempt, and
there he goes.
Pearl sprawled back. Now they're going to try to, he's looking back to his corner here. And
they're saying, ride him, Cowboy.
That's right. Kurt Deemer's pointing down towards the mat. They want him to ride him. Here's where it gets tough.
7-4 lead on 3A, still for Johnny Galloway over Matt Davis. There's 35 seconds left in the match. And in 1A, it's 11-3 with 30 seconds left. Favor of Della Gardell from Don Bosco over Wernemont from Pocahontas.
It's all Keith Pearl here on the 2A mat.
He's had a strong performance.
That's having a strategy and sticking to it.
Yep, he did a nice job. Very disciplined match by Keith Pearl, who after a 3rd place finish last year, caps his career with a championship, and he caps his coaching career at West Liberty with a championship for an individual championship. And here comes Keith, and into the arms of Kurt Deemer. West Liberty Comet wins the state championship, and in 1A, Whoa, Pocahontas comes and wins it.
Yeah, Chris Wernemont won that championship. I believe he becomes his school's first state champion.
Well, I wonder what happened there.
Yep.
All the viewers can tell me.
all the people up
We'll
there.
find out with the floor reports.
Dean Hampel of Lisbon. 6th place, Travis Flink, Alta. 5th place, Matt Pick, Rock Valley. 4th place, Brandon Haying, Sumner. 3rd place, Colby Larson, Guthrie Center. Runner-up, Brett Little, Tri-County Thornburg. And the Class 1A 140-pound champion from Lisbon, Jeremiah Butteris.
Jeremiah becomes the second state champion in his family. His father won a state championship, and his uncle won a state championship also for Lisbon.
And this was Jeremiah's second in a row.
Presenting the Class 2A 140-pound awards, Coach Dick Ingvall of Union LaPorte City. 6th place, Colby O'Brien, Atlantic. 5th place, Andrew Knack, Gladbrook, Rhinebeck, North Tama. 4th place, Jeff Wiley, West Liberty. 3rd place, Cole Paith, Makokata. Runner-up, Dustin Busmus, Norwalk. And the 2A 140-pound champion from LaPorte City Union, Bart Naylor.
Bart puts his team back into second place.
And there to stay. I don't think Osage has another finalist.
Yep, I think you're exactly right. So good feeling for Dick Ingvall.
Presenting the Class 3A 140-pound awards, Coach Bob Thompson of Ames. 6th place, Matt Vasey, Des Moines Lincoln. 5th place, Mike Winkelpleck, Heelan. 4th place, John Gabrielson, Iowa City City High. 3rd place, Anthony Bribriesco, Bettendorf. Runner-up, David Weiss, Harlan. And the 3A 140-pound champion from Ames, Brandon Winkie.
Let's go to Joe.
At 145 pounds in Class 3A, it was Johnny Galloway defeating Matt Davis, a Dubuque senior. Galloway, just a sophomore, finished the season undefeated, and he was great on a feet tonight with 3 takedowns.
This is Dean Borg at 145 pounds in single A. Chris Wernemont became the first state champion ever from his school of Pocahontas. They've been wrestling in that school since the early 70s, I'm told. First state champion, Chris Wernemont, decisioning Rick Gardell of Don Bosco 11-3. And with me right now is the coach from Underwood. It's Louis Curtis. And Louis, you have just won the state championship here. First of all, your wrestlers have. Congratulations on that. I heard Jim Gibbons and Tim Johnson observing earlier that wrestling in Southwest Iowa is on the upswing. Why is it?
Well, we've been watching it for a while, and we think it's, a lot of families that are kind of second-generation kids, and plus we're doing a lot of freestyling, Greco-Roman wrestling, and having a lot of success with that, getting a lot of kids to do that. So I think that's helping a lot.
Congratulations on the state championship.
Thank you.
Many more. Tim?
So.
Thanks. Let's look at the rotation, and now we start the 4 matches for 3A, 152, 160, 171, 189. And we'll be looking at Evans and Mueller up in one of the inserts from Lennox and Postville. And in 2A, McGinnis and Stern from Shenandoah and Emmetsburg, Armstrong, Ringstead. And in 3A, we're going to right now Hughes and Anderson, Muscatine versus Lewis Central. My apologies to those that I misled from Don Bosco. We try to keep up with everything, and I had Delagardel winning most of that match, and actually the Pocahontas wrestler that won his school's first state championship was ahead, and that was Wernemont, and he did win 11-3, and I had it switched around. And so our congratulations to Wernemont and the Pocahontas community.
Pocahontas community, Plover, Rolfe, they're dancing in the streets today. So they got their first state championship in wrestling. So AAA match, we have Howard Hughes from Muscatine, and Blake Anderson. Blake Anderson from Lewis Central, Council Bluffs. Blake is trying to become a state champion like his father.
Yeah, Doug was a two-time All-American at Iowa.
Yeah,
25 years ago, he's a state champion.
That's right. So,
and it's Blake's birthday, so we'll see what happens here. If he can give himself a great birthday present, he get. And that's,
he comes in on a high crotch shot here, and he switches off to a double, gets the takedown right away. So got Hughes in the trouble. So 2-1 score.
Hughes is undefeated. He's 43-0 for Muscatine. Anderson 32-5 for Lewis Central.
Referee here, Mike Exline. He's done a lot of officiating at all levels. High school, college.
From river to river, we're as far away from each other as we can get. Muscatine on the Mississippi, and Lewis Central over on the edge of the southwest corner. And Muscatine coach Mike Fladlin, he was a great wrestler himself for Bettendorf. Keith Massey, he's a home product of Council Bluffs, Lewis Central.
You can see here where Anderson is on your left on the screen here. He's likes to work in off the ties, come to his high crotch shot. Coached by Keith Massey and part of a state championship team.
Boy, he's done a nice job. As you pointed out, they're all underclassmen. Everybody comes back. They clinched the state title yesterday, and Keith Massey and his assistants and the support group, they've done a wonderful job at Council Bluffs.
And Tim, they came here with very high expectations. You see a single leg attempt there right at the end of the period by Hughes, but they came here with real high expectations. Did not have the type of quarterfinal round that they would like to have. And I talked to Gary McCall, who was a 3-time All-American for me at Iowa State and now assisting at the Lewis Central program. And he said that Keith had to take them all back to the hotel and give them a talk and let's stop whining. Let's get after it here. We've got a championship to win. We've got to, follow through. And they came back and have done that and wrestled well in the consolations and also in the semifinals.
You're looking at Keith Massey, who's built over the last decade this program that has been kind of the leader down in Southwest. And we have Underwood, we have Council Bluffs, Lewis Central, both winning state championships.
Let's go. Green, first choice.
And if you want to divide the state in half, it's been the western side of Iowa, because Emmitsburg, Armstrong, Ringstead going to win it in 2A. And so it's a big year for Western Iowa.
What a change that is from several years or decades ago. So Hughes in the top position here to start the period. Anderson, you see, doing some hand fighting. Hughes drops in low. Try to switch up, but Anderson does a good job of fighting hand control, gets his hips out, so he's going to jump out to a 3-1 lead. You see he likes to work in space, doing a lot of head fakes, but Hughes isn't buying any of those head fakes at this stage, so you gotta be careful. He kind of backs out a little bit as he's working those head fakes. And
in 1A, or in 2A, Tyler McGinnis from Shenandoah is leading 4 over another Sturm, Ryan Sturm from Emmitsburg Armstrong Ringstead at the end of the second period. We're going into the third period in 2A. In 1A, the score is 2-1. 45 seconds left in the second period. And Seth Evans from Lennox is trying to keep his undefeated record at the same. He's 41-0, trying to make it 42-0 with the state championship over Mark Mueller from Postville.
And there you see a high crotch attempt by Blake Anderson here, and a roll through by Howard Hughes. Now you see a nice switch off by Anderson. He's been working on this single leg according to his coaches. Single leg technique. Now a nice finish.
Oh, he
coming
tries
up to the half
two.
Nelson and did a nice job with that series. Started
Makes
with a high
score
crotch.
5-1. 5-1 in favor of Blake Anderson over Howard Hughes.
Started with a high crotch there, switched off to a single leg, and nice finish on that, Tim.
Well, let's remember, Hughes has not been beaten this year. He's 43-0 from Muscatine, and he is right now down 5-1 with only 8 seconds left in the second period as they go out of bounds.
And you hear Mike Exline doing a good job of, here's the single leg finish here. Comes in with a trip and comes with the underhook, and almost comes up and gets a half Nelson. Really didn't try to commit to that to get him to his back, but just want to try to clear the arms out. Oh, and here's a reversal right away at the end of the period.
Wow, you don't want to give up that. That was a great 2 points for Howard Hughes, and a nightmare for Blake Anderson right there to give up 2 points at the end of the second period, going back with only 8 seconds left when they started. So now it's 5-3. And Howard Hughes gets another point.
That reversal is huge, Tim.
Oh, it's big.
All of a sudden.
And mentally, it just gives Howard Hughes, he says, I'm back in this thing.
He certainly is. And Anderson's been warned for stalling here. You can see he's kind of backing out to set up his shot.
Huge turnaround, 5-4. You got to think that the person that gets the next takedown really puts himself in a great position.
Hughes done a great job of working himself back into this match. You know, both athletes tend to work in space a little bit. Don't always like to work off tie. Now here's Hughes's first attempt where he has the advantage, and Anderson wants none of that, so he breaks free. Now here's a double leg attempt, warded off pretty well by Anderson. They're working hard here, both athletes. We got 1 minute left in the period. Now another high crotch attempt. So we're trying to switch off to a double. He comes up to his feet, keeps in good position. Does a nice job. Now he breaks the tie, comes back to a dump.
Oh, he cut off nicely. That was a great cutoff, great finish.
What he did there, Tim, is he just kept his opponent moving. Just kept his opponent moving.
Well, in 2A, Tyler McGinnis from Shenandoah wins the championship over Ryan Stern from Emmitsburg Armstrong Ringstead.
And we're back to a 7-5 score. They're both on their feet with 35 seconds left. Anderson has the lead. There's a double leg attempt by Howard Hughes from Muscatine. Fought off pretty well. Double underhook attempt by Anderson. Going to ward him off, and so he's got a little bit of a cushion here. He doesn't want to give up the takedown, so I don't know how aggressive he'll be. Talking about Anderson here on your right. Now there's another shot by Hughes, but they're just one shot, Tim. It's got to put more than one technique together. There you see he's working the wrist, coming up around, being aggressive, dropping in on that single leg. 2 seconds, 1 second. And just like his daddy, state champion.
Great birthday present
you bet.
For himself. And state champion, Blake Anderson, you're looking at him, waiting to get his hand raised. 7-5, the victory. Mike Exline, the official, going to raise his hand here. He's a champion, and in 1A, there's 17 seconds left, and it's a close one, 5-4. And in 2A, Emmitsburg, I think those were the 3 finalists they had, right? And so they become only the 11th school in the history of this tournament to win the team title without winning an individual title. Last year, Iowa City High did it. The year before, Cedar Falls did it.
And there you see Dad, Doug Anderson, former Iowa All-American and state champion for Ankeny. That'll be a very proud moment. We've seen a lot of proud dads here today involved in the programs.
It's exciting when you win and gut-wrenching when you lose.
Here's Seth Evans from Lenox. Seth Evans has a 5-4 lead. Mark Miller. He's going to win
it. Lenox gets a champion. Seth Evans finishes 42-0 for Lenox. Very nice match. Gives Mueller only his 2nd loss of the year. Mueller from Postville.
See the coaches giving him a congratulations. Now he comes over to his coach.
Let's go to the awards stand.
Presenting the Class 1A 145-pound awards, Coach Dusty Rhodes of Pocahontas area. 6th place, Wesley Bishorner, Southern Cal Lake City. 5th place, Dustin Minen, Akron Westfield. 4th place, Keith Payton, Wapsie Valley Fairbank. 3rd place, Joe Durick, Underwood. Runner-up, Rick Delagardelle, Gilbertville, Don Bosco. And the Class 1A 145-pound champion from Pocahontas area, Chris Wernemont.
Well, you know, there's Wernemont winning a state championship, first one ever. But, you know, I don't think it's unrelated to the fact that here's Dusty Rhodes. He knows how to win from Osage, from Wartburg.
Yeah,
right?
Division III national champion.
So he brings that to the program, and boom, it happens.
Yep.
Hey, you look back and you look at the coaching, and I would say that it's very direct correlation there.
No coincidence.
No coincidence.
Presenting the Class 2A 145-pound awards, Coach Kurt Deemer of West Liberty. Sixth place, Joe Euchre, Osage. Fifth place, Joe Gibson, Ballard Huxley. Fourth place, Nathan Burns, MFL Marmac. Third place, Kurt Wagaman, Union LaPorte City. Runner-up, Mark Sturm, Emmitsburg. And the Class 2A 145-pound champion from West Liberty, Keith Pearl.
There's Kurt Deemer, his last state champion, and he's done a great job at West Liberty, and Keith Pearl wins it.
Presenting the Class 3A 145-pound awards, Coach Steve Knipp of Waterloo East. Sixth place, Mike Mogard, Marshalltown. Fourth place, Jake Hobbs, Bettendorf. Fourth place, Ben Kinseth, Iowa City West. Third place, C.T. Hammond, Boone. Runner-up, Matt Davis, Dubuque Senior. And the Class 3A 145-pound champion from Waterloo East, Johnny Galloway.
Let's go to Dino.
Well, Tim, Seth Evans of Lenox in 2 years has only been taken down twice. He was wrestling tonight at 152 in Class A. If you can believe it, taken down twice in only 2 years. He wasn't taken down tonight. He did give up a reversal and a couple of escapes, but he himself had 2 takedowns and an escape, and he decisioned 5-4 over Mark Mueller of Postville. So Seth Evans of Lenox is the champion at 152 in Class A. Joe?
At 152 pounds in Class 2A, it was Tyler McGinnis of Shenandoah over Ryan Sturm of Emmitsburg. The score was 4-1, with most of the points being scored in the first 2 periods. McGinnis got warned for stalling there towards the end, but that was the final, 4-1. He'll be the state champion this year at 152 pounds in Class 2A.
Well, here we go for 160 pounds. Samo from Lenox and Clausen from Underwood at 1A. Hayes from Creston and Bradley from South Tama County at 2A. And our match, Kenyatta Carter from Waterloo West versus Pat Wilsbacher from Sioux City, Heelan. And here we go. The 3A match at 160 pounds. In the red, the black uniform, the red ankle bands, that's Kenyatta Carter. Waterloo West versus Pat Wilsbacher from Sioux City, Heelan. And as you pointed out, Jim, we've got one very traditional power in Waterloo West and one new on the horizon, Heelan, doing the job up there from northwest Iowa.
Well, Dan Ryan told me today, the coach from Heelan, that a Sioux City school has never brought home a trophy, a team trophy from this tournament. So they have a chance to, they will be probably the first team to be able to do that.
Yeah.
They can win a match here.
They're going to name a highway after their coach up there in Sioux City.
Ryan Express.
The Dan Ryan Express.
And you see Kenyatta Carter, he's in on a single leg. He's right at the edge of the mat. He does a nice job of finishing that technique. He's kept the arm trap behind the back, and he almost got back points there.
Official John Yoder.
And there's Doug DeWald. He's the West High coach. It's in his first year. Traveled around a little bit, helped former Cedar Falls state champion, and Crestwood of Cresco, assistant coach.
As an escape for Wilsbacher from Heelan. Makes the score 2-1. 50 seconds left in the first period.
Wilsbacher, I think he's kind of doing something he hasn't been usually comfortable with. Coaching strategy here was to basically force the tie-ups here, and he's usually used to free shot, taking free shots, and That's going to be awful difficult to do against Kenyatta Carter's power. Very powerful athlete. Oh, nice series there.
Nothing yet. Nothing yet. We're still neutral.
You're the referee. We're at the edge of the mat. It was a nice series there. He ducked one direction and came back the other side. I like that. It wasn't really, it's a tough thing to hit when you don't have somebody pushing into you, but it was a nice series. I like to see guys put more than one move together.
And that's usually the ones that put one or two moves, or 2 or 3 moves together, and they're the ones that score. And in high school, and you can put 2 or 3 moves together, it's usually pretty successful for you.
No question about it. And Carter's at the end of the period there.
Green, your choice. Up, down, neutral, defer. Green defers to red. Your choice, son.
Carter's going to take the down position.
Let's get set. Let him get set now. Cover.
There you got a close-up at Kenyatta Carter. Good senior campaign, 36-1 against Heelan's Wilsbacher, who's 42-1. So both wrestlers not really surprised to be here. They're wanting to win a state championship.
You see, when both athletes are 3, there's a lot of motion, a lot of moving around. Doing a good job of keeping their feet moving, trying to get the advantage. Now when they get tied up, they slow down. But now a high crotch attempt by Wilsbacher. Kind of went halfway in. He kind of touched the leg and then came back out instead of driving back into the man. Kenyatta Carter controlling the tie-up here. Now he shucks the elbow by.
You see the score there. Carter in the red band ahead 3-1. With the escape that he got, there's a nice shot. But good hip action, good power by Kenyatta Carter.
Boy, he is powerful, because Wilsbacher looked like he had that. Now he's going to have to use some of that power to stay square.
In 1A, the score's 2-2. Minute and a half left in the second period.
There's a drag attempt by Carter, and they go off the mat. So, you know, it was a nice series there. Wilsbacher was going to the Kenyatta's right leg, and then he changed back to the other side and almost caught Carter off guard. But again, he's not following through when he gets to the leg. And I think Kenyatta, he's got a lot of respect for Kenyatta Carter's power at this stage in the match.
In 2A, a little update there. It's 2-1 in favor of Paul Bradley, undefeated wrestler from South Tame, over Andrew Hayes from Creston.
Andrew Hayes, a defending or returning state champion. I don't like to say defending because they're returning. They already won the one that they achieved.
Good point.
So this match is kind of slowed down a little bit. You see Wilsbacher now working into a, he's not able to get through Carter's head-hands defense.
Yeah, his first line of defense is pretty formidable.
Yeah, he's, and I think there's a respect factor there too.
We got some blood time here. Let's get him cleaned up.
Yeah, there's going to be a little blood time, so.
Here you go, let's get this. It was bleeding earlier too.
In 1A, Lennox and Underwood going at it. The top 2 teams in 1A. And the score is 4-3 in favor of Underwood's Keith Clausen, who's 48-0. And he's ahead of Wade Samo, 39-3 record from Lennox. There's Pat Wilsbacher talking to his coach Dan Ryan.
Okay.
There's your returning champions in 3A, Dominic Moyer, and he won it again. Mark Hansleben, and he won it again. Travis Paulson.
Here we go, guys.
He got beat.
And he got beat.
Yeah.
And Ryan Heim from Dubuque Hempstead won it again. So 3 out of 4.
Nothing yet.
Won it again.
And that's pretty different. There's a beautiful shot by Kenyatta Carter here right at the end of the second period. So
big 2 points. It was a 3-1 match, and now all of a sudden it's 5-1 with 2 minutes left.
Well, how many times have we seen that here today, Tim, where guys are scoring with less than 5 seconds? You say, well, you want to go to grab something out of a refrigerator, and all of a sudden the guy scores.
One green, we're neutral.
So both athletes on their feet right now, and
action, guys, let's go.
5-2 score. So 1:36 left in the period, 5-2. Kenyatta Carter, nice physical looking athlete here. Good shots, very explosive. Really doing a workmanlike job here, Tim. 1:23 left in the third period.
You're listening to Jim Gibbons, former 3-time state high school champion, NCAA champion, and former Iowa State Cyclone coach. We also have Joe Gibbons and Dean Borg. Dean, a veteran floor reporter for us, and Joe, new on the team, 4-time state champion, and coming back with a coat and tie on instead of a singlet. Doing a great job for us. We're at 160 pounds, and ever since Jim mentioned the refrigerator, I got hungry.
That's, see Dan Ryan there. Well, I just can't be really impressed with the job he's done at Sioux City Heelan. 45 seconds left. His athlete's coming up a little bit short at this stage in the match, so we'll see. Looks a little, he looks a little bit frustrated out there, Wilsbacher, Pat Wilsbacher, and hasn't been able to get through Carter's defense, and Carter's at this stage of the match with only 27 seconds left is probably not going to come after him very much, but it's up to Wilsbacher to go ahead and present himself now. A drop down, a shot by Carter. He's comfortable in here, working back up to his feet.
Here we go. Going back to the middle here. 11 seconds left. It's 5-2. Kenyatta Carter looks like he's on the way to giving Waterloo West one of, I don't know, uncountable number of individual champions.
What a great tradition that program has had over the years with Bob Siddons and Don Huff and state championships they've won, and he's going to put his name on the wall of champions at West High, and
he's the 85th, in fact.
And make a little room for him.
85th individual state champion since 1926. You're looking at him right there, and that's 24 more than the runner-up Crestwood. That's a lot of state champions. And in 1A, we're going to go to 2A right now, and that scores 3-2. A minute 15 left. We knew this was going to be a great match, Jim.
And it's going to be, it's a war. Paul Bradley is a fellow that has won a lot of AAU championships and at the age group level, the cadet level.
And he's leading 3-2 right now with a minute left over Andrew Hayes.
And Hayes is a returning state champion, so Hayes in on that single leg and the black singlet there right at the edge of the mat. So 53 seconds left. It's anybody's match at this stage.
And the winner in Underwood, the battle of #1 and #2 team-wise, Lennox and Underwood. Underwood wins, scores 7-4 for Keith Clausen. 49-0 is the record this year. His coach Louis Curtis, happy coach, and he beats Lennox's Wade Samo for the championship. Now we're looking at a cut on the face of Paul Bradley from South Tama.
Paul Bradley, 42-0 on the year, Tim. Nice season for a sophomore, for anybody for that matter. And he's real poised out there. You can tell that his experience here in the summer freestyle tournaments and the age group levels, cadet levels. Cadet is 16 and under level, and he's had some success at the lower level, so he's pretty poised. He's been in a lot of matches, and even though he's a sophomore going up against a senior.
Well, it's coming down to 40 seconds left in the match. Right now, it's 3-2 in favor of the man in blue. Whoa!
And that's a great job of a whip over attempt by Andrew Hayes, and he's going to get the 2 points. And you saw that Andrew Hayes kept his level real low, started the flurry of action.
And he's keeping his composure, too. This is
certainly
good.
is.
Like you said, this is a war. They both expect to win.
And Hayes is a strong guy. He doesn't look real strong, but he's got a good grip. I've seen him wrestle a few times, and now he's in a scramble situation here. They're going to call that a potentially dangerous, and that really is a potentially dangerous situation. That Bradley got a little out of position there, so 4-3 score. Hayes has the lead, and he's in the top position. Nice stand-up attempt, fighting hand control, and Hayes lifted him up with one arm, popped his hips, and now he's got the legs in.
15 seconds left.
Working the legs in.
Boy, this is like riding a bull, I'll tell you. We talked about bull riding, and it looks like Hayes is, some blood. Some blood, so they have to stop it.
Wow. Ooh. And I think, yeah, they have to call that.
Yes,
because
they have to call that.
The blood, it's a tough break for Hayes because he had the leg in, he had him flattened out, he had a chance to glance back at the clock and do a little posing.
Well, you're talking about a good season. We've had a good season for College Wrestling 2000, our 24th year, and we had 9 college meets. And why don't you get a pencil if you're viewing this right now and let us know what you thought. It's 24th year, my 14th. It's been very exciting. Write us at Iowa Public Television, P.O. Box 6450, Johnston, Iowa 50131. Go to the web, www.collegewrestling.iptv.org, and let us know how you enjoyed Dan Gable, Jim Gibbons, and myself, and our bringing you College Wrestling 2000. Also, tonight's 29th high school state championship, and also coming down. Whoa!
Oh, what a great job!
I'll tell you, what a great job.
9 seconds to start the period, and there you see it. There's your champion. He doesn't give it up very easily.
No, that was an outstanding match. Both these wrestlers wrestled like they deserved to win, and there's your champion from Preston.
And a beautiful job of riding in that, there's 30 seconds left, up by 1, and Andrew Hayes shows you why he's the champion. And his coach, Harold Fain, first-year coach, going to have a state champion.
Let's go to the award stand.
Presenting the Class 1A 152-pound awards, Coach Aaron McGuire of Lenox. 6th place, Steve Gunderson, Woodward Granger. 5th place, Zach Henrich, Kingsley Pearson. 4th place, Jason Mitchell, I-35 Truro. 3rd place, Cody Koenig, Underwood. Runner-up, Mark Mueller, Postville. And the Class 1A 152-pound champion from Lenox, Seth Evans.
There's your champion from Lenox, Seth Evans. There, mighty man. Look at that reaction.
And he is, and I tell you what, once his arms get the size of that walk, he's going to be awful darn strong. But I tell you what, he's done that to opponents all year. Andrew Hayes.
Presenting the Class 2A 152-pound awards, assistant coach and brother Todd McGinnis of Shenandoah. 6th place, Kyle Edwards, Northwood Kensett. 5th place, Kenny Benke, Cascade. 4th place, Justin Sinclair, Central Clinton DeWitt. 3rd place, Carl Cruikshank, Tama, South Tama County. Runner-up, Ryan Sturm, Emmetsburg, Armstrong Ringstead. And the Class 2A 152-pound champion from Shenandoah, Tyler McGinnis.
Big win for McGinnis from Shenandoah.
He came 1 match short of setting the all-time win record of, I think it was 187 wins in his career. And a lot of guys sitting around right now, and beat me 2 times. He beat me 3 times. And sitting there in your living rooms, is own up to it.
Presenting the Class 3A 152-pound awards, volunteer coach and father Doug Anderson of Lewis Central. 6th place, Grant Weisinger, Fort Madison. 5th place, Greg Pitt, Knoxville. 4th place, Sean Reinert, Indianola. 3rd place, Nick Cray, Linn-Mar Marion. Runner-up, Howard Hughes, Muscatine. And the Class 3A 152-pound champion from Lewis Central Council Bluffs, Blake Anderson.
And there's his dad, Doug Anderson, being allowed to give that gold medal to his son. What do you have for us, Dean?
Well, Tim, Class A, 160 pounds, Keith Clausen of Underwood put together 3 takedowns and an escape to decision 7-4 over Wade Samo of Lenox. Samo had 4 escapes. That's what it was. Joe?
Well, we got a special guest here. It's Coach Bob Kenny from Emmetsburg. He's coaching the Class 2A state championship team. Bob, how does it feel coming in here ranked #1 and finishing #1?
Well, you know, when you place 5 guys in the top 5 or top 3, it's a good feeling. You know, you like to win your finals matches, and that's kind of a bad way to end her, but you know, it feels real good. Kids had a good tournament, and you know, you can't complain about being number 1.
Well, congratulations again, Bob.
Thank you, Joe, and congratulations, Bob. At 171 pounds, Fierback from Belle Plaine and Moles from Wapsie Valley will go at it in 1A and 2A. Hickle from Northwood Kensett and Reeks from New Hampton. And in 3A, our match, Bolivar from Newton and Richardson from Iowa City West. Let's take a look at them. That's Iowa City West in the green on the right, and Bolivar from Newton in the red. And good thing they have, that's nice that they have red bands with the red uniform and green bands with the green uniform. That makes it easy. Let's get after it, Jim. This should be a good one.
Oh, it should be a good one. And Ashton Richardson's coached by Mark Ryland, the former Iowa NCAA champion and multi-time state champion from Eagle Grove. And then Bolivar coached by Bill Reed in his 2nd year at Newton. He's really doing a good job of getting that program up and running, and program that's had a lot of tradition as far as the football is going. They've always been in the state championships, but now they're really starting to get it going in wrestling and football. And I talked to Bill a little bit earlier, what a great deal of cooperation those two sports have now. Both coaches are working real well together, and you know, John Jenkins, the longtime football coach there, has really helped out. I mean, Bill couldn't have been more complimentary about a young coach getting started in a school like that.
Well, so, of course, Newton, the home of our own wrestling institute museum that was the brainchild and founded by Mike Chapman. And I saw Mike and Bev here at the state tournament. What great supporters they've been of wrestling, and now what a great thing to have right on Interstate 80. So anyone that wants to see the history of wrestling should stop by the Wrestling Institute and Museum right off the exit at Newton.
Mike Chapman's been a great friend for wrestling for a number of years, and it's nice to see that museum in place and right off I-80. So there's Bolivar. He's just comes at you all the time. He has a good physical style. Ashton comes into the tournament here with a 31-7 record. Bolivar is a 40-1. Just a grinder. He just comes at you all the time, just always moving forward.
Action. Center.
Just hammers on him.
Center.
There's a nice attack by Ashton.
Center.
Hear the referee yelling center. Wanting both athletes to work back towards the middle. Ashton working off the collar tie.
Uneventful from a score-wise in the first period, and it winds down 0-0 at the end of the first period. In 1A, the score is 2-0.
There's Mark Ryland on the right.
Red chooses bottom.
Former Iowa NCAA champion, 167. Couple-time All-American.
No warning.
Done a nice job with that program over there at Iowa City West.
Yes, he has. Scores 2-1 in 1A, and that's in favor of Jacob Fierbach from Belle Plaine over Dan Molds from Wapsie Valley. And that's at the start of the second period. With a minute and a half left in the second period, just in 2A, scores still 0-0 between Hickle from North Central, Manly, Northwood, Kensett, and Reeks from New Hampton.
Okay, guys, here we go.
There you see Bolivar popping up to his feet, but Ashton did get a good job of dropping in on a double leg shot and finishing up and didn't allow Bolivar to get out. So here you see it pops up on what we call a heavyweight stand-up. He drives in. And I like what he's doing here because if he ever gets in that situation on the feet, he knows he can finish.
Okay, guys, okay.
New start again.
Try to keep it on the mat, fellas.
And it's awful difficult to keep it on the mat. You're not talking about 103-pounders here. These are guys that a little bit bigger size, 170-pound, 1-pound weight class. And
need a little bit bigger mat.
Yeah.
Keep it on the mat.
And so Ashton working on the ankle ride. Now Bolivar doing a job of squaring up. He didn't have much room. We go off the mat.
Are you ready? Come hot.
Minute 20 left in the second period, and the score's still 0-0. Good ride so far by Iowa City West. Ashton Richardson over Newton's Andy Bolivar.
And now he's starting to work a little bit more in the center. You know, he's taking a little bit of the starch out of Bolivar, you can tell.
And he's doing it to Bolivar's 40-1, and Ashton Richardson is lost 7 times this year.
But I think what he's learned through this whole process, if he is fortunate enough to get in on Bolivar's leg, that he can finish because he did it in the riding techniques.
It's a good point, Jim. And he is on his feet right now, and he's going to get his chance.
They get a start here. Both guys strong, physical, 71-pounders. Drag attempt, now a re-drag attempt by Bolivar. Bolivar is just going to come straight at you.
Center. Center.
Single leg attempt.
Center.
You see our official here, Robert Baxter, is talking to these athletes a little bit more than
Stalemate. Let's go, guys.
what we normally see, and sometimes that affects their concentration, and other times you know, they tune into the official and get it going. Going off the wrist ties.
Center.
There's a nice single leg attempt. Now he knows he can finish that if he gets in there again. Bolivar did a nice job of underhooking, and now Bolivar has the advantage in the tie here. He's got to go ahead and try to answer with some type of technique.
1-0 in favor of Bolivar from Newton. At the end of the second period, now we go to the final period. And Richardson from Iowa City West will get his opportunity now to get that 1 or 2 points. He'll start down.
He wants an optional bottom.
And it looks like the Bolivar will probably just let him go. There's the 1A standings. Underwood, the champion. Don Bosco leading Lennox, but Lennox still got wrestler left. Emmetsburg 1, LaPorte 2, and Osage 3. Those are set. And there's Lewis Central, the champions. Iowa City High 2nd, and Heelan 3rd, and those are set.
And we're going to go hopefully settle this thing on the feet. So 1:40 left in the third period. 1-1 score. Both athletes have traded escapes. It hasn't been uneventful, though. Got 2 guys going at it. Similar height, body styles. It's really tough to get through those head, hands defense. I mean, they didn't get here without showing they were capable of scoring. You see Bolivar working in. Red singlet, red uniform. Nice single leg attempt by Ashton. And now he hips in. Almost finishes like he did when he was riding. Look at the wrist tie. Ashton's tying up the wrist, and I think that's frustrating Bolivar at this time. See that right wrist tie Ashton is using? And now going off the elbow tie.
Minute left in the match here in 3A, and the score is 1-1. It's a close one. 1 minute left. They're on their feet in 1A or in 2A. Jason Reeks from New Hampton finished the year undefeated, 36-0, winning the state championship. In 1A, there's a minute 40 left, and the score is 5-3 in favor of Jacob Feuerbach from Belle Plaine over Molds from Wapsie Valley.
Stay in there.
Fairbank.
Stay in. Center.
Well, what's happening here is that Ashton is tying up Bolivar's left wrist, and that's really frustrating him. He's not able to get a shot. Now he's got an elbow tie. He's got the tie he wants, but he didn't get the shot off.
Center in.
So when you have that tie that you want, Tim, that you've been working for half the match, you got to go ahead and try to execute that technique.
And here we go, 30 seconds left for somebody to execute technique to the point of scoring and winning a championship.
There it is, Bolivar getting tied up again with the wrist ride. Ashton's really implementing a lot of good strategy in here, keeping this tight. Remember, he's had 7 losses on the year, so you think that Bolivar would probably be, favored in this match with only 1 loss, and he's battling them toe-to-toe.
And it looks like we're going to go to overtime here at 171 pounds. And they'll do that immediately as they put 2 minutes up on the clock. They go right to the center, and it's sudden victory here. There's Bill Reed, the coach at Newton. There's no warnings, and they go after it right now. First score wins. It's as simple as that. Great overtime concept that was put into play a few years ago.
And I tell you what, you've really seen Richardson basically try to get
a little bit more motion in the beginning of this period. I think the first guy that puts 1 or 2, maybe probably 2 or 3 moves together here has a chance of winning this match. That's what it's going to take. There's a nice single leg attempt by Bolivar. This is his strength right here.
Oh, nice slip there by the West High Richardson. Did a nice job of slipping his leg out because Bolivar was just about ready to cinch it up for the 2.
Boy, that's Bolivar's story right there. I mean, he likes to, he gets your leg up in the air. He does a good job of finishing, and that was the first time that Bolivar was able to really attack Ashton Richardson's legs. Now they're tied up ear to ear.
Minute 20 left. Minute 20 left in the first overtime. If we go all the way and there's no score, they flip the coin, and we go to the 32nd, second overtime. One chooses where he wants to go, up or down, and whoever rides out or escapes wins.
There you saw a pretty good high crotch attempt by Bolivar. It isn't like both guys aren't trying to hit their techniques. You've seen Ashton hit a couple in overtime and Bolivar with the single leg, and that time with a high crotch attempt. So they're getting after it. Now Ashton Richardson tying up the wrist.
Stay in, fellas, stay in, center in.
The referee's kind of warning Richardson to center in, to circle back in, present himself.
Come on, guys, come on. Try to work in here,
Fearback from Belle Plaine wins it.
But there's just like there's a magnet on that wrist right there. And Richardson has got to the single leg attempt.
He's in on it, he's in on it. Can he finish it?
He likes to, oh, he's doing a good job of coming out to the ankle. Nice, he's got it stretched out. He gets it way up top. He's got to stay in the middle here if he's going to finish it. He tries to go up top. He's losing ground here. He's got to come way back to the middle.
20 seconds to get him down. Great balance shown by Bolivar.
How about that flexibility?
Whoa! He gets out of there.
Yeah, no points.
I'll bet Coach Reed was wondering where it was going to go when they were in the center, and it was way up there.
How high was his foot above his head?
It was above his head.
Yeah.
And Mark Ryland has to figure, how did we lose that one? 12, 11, 10 seconds left. And it looks like they're going to go to the flip of the coin.
Go more action.
You could see that coming. Just both athletes have great head, hands, defense, and
come on in, guys. 30 seconds.
Well, let's see.
Here we go.
Here's the coin flip. And it's going to be Bolivar's, Ashton Richardson's choice.
Coach Ryland says, you're going down. He says he pointed hard. And so now all he has to do, all Richardson has to do, he's choosing down. He has to get out in 30 seconds, and he wins it.
Yep.
All Bolivar has to do is ride him. And if he rides him successfully for 30 seconds, he's the champion.
He comes in on an ankle ride. Now he tries to come up around the waist. Ooh, that was close.
I tell you, some people think that, oh, it just must be about 90% that the person underneath it. I'll bet it's close to 50-50.
It really is. I mean, I think it's like 2 percentage points difference, or maybe 4 percentage points difference between the two. And you see, he's dropping in on a single leg, and they'll allow you to do that. Right. Oh, there it is. There's your champion.
He slipped. He won. He won the state. 7 losses doesn't mean a thing to him now because he is the champion.
How about that? 7 losses on the year. Comes into the state finals. Beats the #1 ranked guy in the state.
You're looking at Ashton Richardson from Iowa City West.
Look at that expression.
The state championship. Into Mark Ryland's arms. Mark's felt the feeling himself.
Oh, look at that.
He's a state champion from Eagle Grove. Now he's the coach at Iowa City West.
Not a more satisfying feeling.
Let's go to the award stand.
The award stand area at the east end of the auditorium. Presenting the Class 1A 160-pound awards, Coach Louis Curtis of Underwood. 6th place, Tyler Van Dee, English Valley, North English. 5th place, Heath Johnson, South Hamilton Jewel. 4th place, Garrett South, Anita Cam. 3rd place, Tom Meester, Central Lyon, Rock Rapids. Runner-up, Wade Samo, Lenox. And the Class 1A 160-pound champion from Underwood, Keith Clausen.
Let's go to Dean for a quick report.
In single A at 171 pounds, Jacob Feuerbach of Belle Plaine with an 8-5 decision over Dan Molds of Wapsie Valley Fairbank is the state champion. That's Jacob Feuerbach of Belle Plaine. Back to the awards.
Thank you very much. And back for the 2A awards.
Presenting the Class 2A 160-pound awards, Coach Darrell Frayne of Creston. 6th place, Andy Kennedy, Monticello. 5th place, Mark Van Oort, Galva Holstein. 4th place, David Gannon, Dallas Center Grimes. 3rd place, Jace Clark, Union LaPorte City. Runner-up, Paul Bradley, South Tama County. And the 2A 160-pound champion from Creston, Andrew Hayes.
Joe Gibbons, what do you have for us?
Yeah, at 171 pounds in Class 2A was Jason Reeks, the returning state champion, coming back and getting his 2nd gold medal tonight. He defeated Cody Hickle from Northwood Kentsa 5-3.
Thank you, Joe. And now we're ready for the 3A awards.
Presenting the Class 3A 160-pound awards, Coach Doug DeWald of Waterloo West. 6th place, Andy Gum, Council Bluffs Abe Lincoln. 5th place, Cody Warwick, Boone. 4th place, Rob Lawler, Bettendorf. 3rd place, Adam Fellers, Fort Dodge. Runner-up, Pat Wilsbacher, Heelan. And the 3A 160-pound champion from Waterloo West, Kenyatta Carter.
Well, let's go back to Joe, who's standing by with the Lewis Central Council Bluffs winning coach.
Yeah, I'm next to a guy that I've been friends with since we were in grade school. We went through the kid programs together, but we got Keith Massey here, coach of the state championship Lewis Central team. We crowned 2 champions tonight. He's been coaching for 6 years. They got 4th last year. They got 1st this year. Keith, tell me, what's going on down there in Southwest Iowa that we need to know?
Our Little Kids program really does a great job of feeding kids into our program. They work their tails off all the time, all year long, and they're very disciplined kids. Their intelligence as well. All of them have at least about a 3-point grade point average.
Well, Keith, you're doing a great job. We're proud of you.
Hey, Keith certainly is doing a great job, Joe, and we're proud of you. You're doing a great job in your first year as our floor reporter, and we're looking at 189 pounds matchups. 1A, Potabun from Lawton Bronson and Eben from Central Lyon, Rock Rapids. 2A, Trey Clark going for his 3rd from Union LaPorte City, Brewer, Dallas Center Grimes. And our 3A, 189 matchup, Sean Stender, North Scott, going up against Doug Onstadt from Indianola. And Jim was just showing me where Sean Stender from North Scott, there you see in the red ankle bang. He was 3rd as a sophomore, 2nd last year, and here he is with a shot to win it for North Scott. And that would be their first champion in a while, I believe. I think that he is, would be somewhere in here.
He's been the first champion.
Trying to become his school's 2nd state champion. He's the first. He would be the first since Dave Kluver at 167 pounds in 1971. Almost 30 years since North Scott. What a great year they've had. They're in the team, the hunt for the team championships as well. Great year for North Scott Eldridge.
Sean Stender here in the red trims and the red ankle band here from North Scott. Indianola. Onstadt is Doug Onstadt here in the silver gray uniform. And you've got 2 nice looking physical athletes here. And again, just like the last, oh, what a whip over attempt there by Stender.
Oh, it's a good way to start for Stender.
There,
oh, it's a fall.
Oh, man.
He wins it. First champion in 29 years for North Scott. He jumps into Jeff Neumeister's arms. And a minute 4, well, let's see, that's 56-second fall for Sean Stender. He wins it in big fashion over Doug Onstadt from Indianola. Big win, and of course, we will now be going to see maybe the class of the tournament in Double-A, Trey Clark.
And here you see a great whip over attempt here. Looks how he sets this thing up, Tim. He snaps the man down, Onstadt post, boom, steps up and brings it over. And boy, I tell you what, that is tight. Man.
Well, it didn't take Bob Dream from Coralville, the official, long to slap the mat. And there's a reaction of Sean Stender from North Scott Eldridge. Hey, we're at 2A now with Trey Clark going for his 3rd. He won it as a freshman. And won it last year as a junior. Going to go to the University of Iowa and wrestle next year. He's 33-0 this year. LaPorte City Union. And Joe Brewer, 25-1 from Dallas Center Grimes. Longtime coach Andy Davidson in his corner.
And Joe Brewer's had a good season here to get to this point. But he's up against one of the class wrestlers in the tournament here in Trey Clark. And we saw him wrestle a little bit last year in the state finals and won the state championship as a freshman, and didn't place, had an injury, a football injury that he didn't quite come back from, and then won the championship again as a junior in dominant fashion. And what I've been impressed about, or what I've seen the last couple of with the talent here, is how many big guys are winning multiple state championships. And usually you see the old, like I was, a 98-pounder, maybe winning one and maybe adding multiple titles to that. But, how tough it is for these big guys who maybe haven't matured as much to win titles as underclassmen. That's just really impressive.
Oh, I think you make a good point. And, really it was Trey Clark that just busted through that wall a few years ago, because I've never seen a 171-pounder win a state championship as a freshman, and that's just what he did. And if Trey Clark wins his third title, that means he and Jeff Harrison and Jesse Sundell all won, and that'll bring the number of three-time champions since the Iowa High School Association began sanctioning the event in 1926 to 50. We have, if Trey Clark wins, that'll bring the number to 50 three-time state champions.
Does a great job of pinning a Brewer's hips to the mat. And he's using techniques here that could be successful at any level. He's got Brewer flattened out. Brewer doesn't want to come up too much, or might wing that shoulder a little bit. Now look at him work for the wrist on the far side. Really trying to drive over hard. He's got to try to get Brewer's maybe hips turned first, and the shoulders will come. He's got the wrist tied up underneath, and now he's going to try to do a side tilt. The reason that technique's effective, he's got Brewer's wrist locked up underneath there. Brewer's a pretty tough customer, though. He's had a good season to this point, only one loss on the season.
Scores 2-0 or 4-0 with the start of the second period coming up. There's Dick Ingvall. We've talked about him, a long-time successful coach at LaPorte.
Really doing a great job with that program. And Trey Clark in the down position. Joe Brewer, strong athlete. Does a good job of picking Clark up. Now he's working into the cross-face cradle. Spiral ride type technique. And right here, Trey Clark is feeling that, I've seen Brewer wrestle before. He's a nice, strong athlete, a well proportioned junior. And he's not going to give up an escape very easily. He may not be in this, may not be quite to the class you think that Trey Clark is with his experience and winning championships, but he's also an awful physical kid and coached very well. Andy Davidson at Dallas Center Grimes, I think, is one of the premier coaches in the state. And
he's done a great job at Dallas Center over the years. And one thing I notice here is Brewer is certainly up for the task. He's excited for the opportunity to be out there and trying to beat Trey Clark.
No question about it. And there's Andy on your left.
On the left-hand side there.
Yep, he's really schooled in the fundamentals. I mean, I've got one of his athletes that came out of Dallas Center Grimes, and Eric Volker. And Eric was really schooled well. By the time
he was a big wrestler.
Yep. And I think Eric has done some work with Joe Brewer, helping out with the kid programs and such, but doing a good job in the top position.
Yes, he is.
Riding Clark out. Almost a minute and 10 seconds worth of riding. I know he's not being real aggressive here, but he's got to have something he can build on to get his confidence up in this match. And sometimes controlling a man in the top position is something that will just do just that. And here we go with a stall warning. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, that's a point. I think from a confidence standpoint, it wasn't a bad decision to go ahead and ride him out. So there's a low single leg attempt here. Beautiful shot here by Clark. And here's that long reach that he has. And he'll test Brewer's flexibility here. And he drops in on the low single and finishes. And he's back on top.
Boy, and he's got that arm bar and ready to crank again.
Yeah, he's a throwback to the old style, old school type wrestlers. You saw it in the 50s and the 60s where they just grind it out the whole time, and you'd be beating the heck out of the guy, and maybe the score was 3-0.
Well, as we approach the end of the match here, you see that Trey Clark wins his third, and he's the 50th three-time state champion. Those of you who are watching and might want to get a pencil, and we're going to give you an address again as we approach the end of tonight's big event. Head for heavyweights to take the address down. Let us know what you thought of tonight's broadcast, of the whole year's series, both college wrestling and the state high schools. You're looking at Trey Clark, three-time Iowa State High School champion. And 1A scores 10-9 in favor of Curtis Eben from Central Lion Rock Rapids, 31-1, trying to beat Potabom from Lawton Bronson, and he gets the takedown, and he does. So Curtis Eben beats the previously undefeated Jeremiah Potabom. No, wait a minute.
Yeah, I believe Potabom won that match.
Potabom, won for the 50th time.
Yeah.
There it is. For the 50th time there. 14-9, Potabom. 50-0. Let's go to the awards.
The auditorium. Presenting the Class 1A 171-pound awards, Coach Bob Yalick of Belle Plaine. Sixth place, Dieter Walders, Martinsdale St. Mary's. Fifth place, Matt Ritchie, I-35 Truro. Fourth place, Brad Snitger, Postville. Third place, Curtis Williamson, Eagle Grove. Runner-up, Dan Moles, Wapsie Valley Fairbank. And the Class 1A 171-pound champion from Belle Plaine, Jacob Feuerbach.
There's the champ from Belle Plaine, Jacob Feuerbach. Get your pencils and let us know. We'll give you the address right here, Iowa Public Television, P.O. Box 6450, Johnston, Iowa 50131, www.collegewrestling.iptv.org. Write us, let us know how you enjoyed or how you might want us to improve in our broadcast, in college wrestling and for the state high school. We'd like to have your comments on our whole sports programming this winter. And if you'd like to write us, you saw the address.
Fifth place, Brett Upchurch, Norwalk. Fourth place, Brad Ryder, Northeast Goose Lake. Third place, Travis Stecker, Algona. Runner-up, Cody Hickle, Northwood Kensett. And the 2A 171-pound champion from New Hampton, Jason Reichs.
And the web, if you've been watching us, you know it's an exciting place to be, www.collegewrestling.iptv.org. You can see all our off-the-mat features that we've had throughout the year. You can talk Dan Gable about college wrestling, about high school wrestling, all the important things that's going to be going on year-round. We don't quit on the web right now. We go into the summer. Just enjoy us. Join us on the web. Back to the awards.
Sixth place, Alex Bibiesco, Bettendorf. Fifth place, Corey Reinig, West Delaware, Manchester. Fourth place, Ben Blood, Cedar Rapids, Kennedy. Third place, Akeem Carter, Waterloo West. Runner-up, Andy Bolivar, Newton. And the 3A 171-pound champion from Iowa City West, Ashton Richardson.
Let's go to Dean.
In single A, at 189 pounds, Jeremiah Pottenbaum of Lawton Bronson is again a state champion. He was last year too. He decisioned 14-9 over Curtis Eben of Central Alliance Rock Rapids. Neither man wanted to do any riding time. They both let each other up, so it was a series of takedowns and escapes. Back to the awards.
Class 2A,
let's go to Joe.
Robbie Krominga.
Okay, I'm with Trey Clark, the newest of the three-time state champions from Union LaPorte City. Trey, you were dominant in this tournament. Nobody scored on you. What are your feelings as you're going out the door here in your senior year?
I don't know. Kind of feels good. I just kind of wanted to get over with, a little pressure on me and everything, and it feels real good. Go out and go through this tournament dominant, and that's the whole plan. Of doing, being wrestling and just being dominant, and that's all I want to do today.
Well, I think you're going to continue to do that as you go to the University of Iowa, so good luck in the future, Trey.
Thanks.
Thank you, Joe. Now let's go to a heavyweight match, and we're going to show you the 3A, but also at 1A, Lander from Underwood and Christensen from Lennox will battle it out to see if Lennox can get back up to second place. Then Crominga and Iowa Falls and Conlon from Humboldt in 2A. We're going to look at Fouch and Sheddick. There's Sheddick in on a single leg from Xavier.
That's 2-point takedown here by Mike Sheddick, and he got to this tournament here by beating the #1 ranked wrestler Wade McLeod from Muscatine. And Wade is going to Iowa State on his wrestling scholarship. So you see Fouch there, Council Bluff, Abraham Lincoln, and Sheddick. Is Cedar Rapids Xavier, and if for some of you who don't know, that's the combination of LaSalle and Regis, I believe.
And I would say that Xavier probably hasn't had a champion then since they went together. So they're looking for the first champion of Xavier School in Cedar Rapids.
He did a nice job with that high crotch type technique, and he was able to switch off and get the technique. He's a little bit light. He's not a real tall heavyweight, but you can see his leg muscles there. He's a pretty strong guy. He's got a little bit of trouble now. He's a little bit of trouble, and Fouch did a good job of warming back into him, but I don't believe there's any points scored in that whole sequence, and I think that's a good call. So Sheddick got a little bit high there. You see Clark Allen, the coach at Council Bluff.
Long-time Abe Lincoln Council Bluffs coach. Coach of Xavier is Dave Malachek.
And how about Council Bluffs, or how about Southwest Iowa again? We have another school here representing the state finals.
And if in 1A, if Lennox heavyweight Brett Christensen defeats Underwood's heavyweight Mark Lander, Lennox will zip past Don Bosco for second place, and it will be Underwood and Lennox, 1 and 2 in 1A.
I got a kick, Tim, out of looking at Ben Fouch's sheet that he gave us. He said his weight class was 123.5. That means that that's probably exactly what he thought he weighed at the time, which is a pound and a half under what the weight class was. So
223?
Or 273.5, and the weight class limit is 275. I don't think we were looking for that much detail.
He was just telling you what he weighed in at.
Yep.
Second period, minute and a half left in the second period of the 2A. It's 1-0 in favor of Tom Conlon from Humboldt. They're in the second period up there. He's in the blue.
Here you see Ben Fouch in the down position, trailing 2-1. You can see that Mike Sheddick has kind of a harassing style on top. He's going to try to ride or take a little steam out of Fouch here by just riding and keeping some weight up on him.
Keep working, man.
He does it, doing a good job, Tim, I think, of keeping weight off his knees. He's on his toes. He's circling out in front. Not really stalling here because I think that he's first of all, Mr. Fouch is a pretty big person there. I'm sure he's spotting him at least about 40 pounds or so. Now he grabs the wrist. He's got him broken down, and here's where you got to try to make it tough for him to get back up to his knees. Does a nice job, and Fouch does a good job of getting back to his base. But he's got to do a little more than that. Maybe try to come up to his feet.
Again, Sheddick knocking Fouch continually off his base, doing a good job working him, and Fouch is called for stalling, actually. Warned for stalling.
Well, there it is, an escape given.
50 seconds left in the second period. Score 2-2 now.
And that might have been a situation where Sheddick might have been confused whether maybe he was getting called for stalling there, and so he let him up. So, see Fouch here likes to work with the overhooks. He wants to go upper body. Big time size and height difference here between the two athletes here. You've got now a nice high crotch attempt. He goes to the trip. Can't quite get the trip down, and I tell you what, Fouch wouldn't have anything to do with that. Nice job of keeping his balance.
2-2, 23 seconds left in the second period of this heavyweight match. The final match of the evening. Our matches are on the mat. All three heavyweights, you see 1A and 2A in the inserts, and our feature match here for the heavyweight is 3A.
Both guys are really working inside. Fouch, the red singlet's comfortable with the overhooks. Shiddick wants to work off the inside bicep tie, it looks like, and try to get his high crotch set up there and end the period. And 2-2 scored. Shiddick's going to take the down position.
There's 1A standings. Underwood, of course, winning it. Don Bosco holding on to a half-point lead over Lennox, and we've got Lennox and Underwood going after it in 1A. You see in the top of your screen, and the Lennox wrestler Christensen is down 5-3 with 1:15 left in the match.
And I got a little story about Fouch here. He went out for the basketball team earlier this. Actually.
There's Dave Malachek. Excuse me, Jim. That's Dave Malachek, the coach of Xavier.
Yeah.
Go back.
Yeah, well, he was out for the basketball team earlier, and then came, nice series right there. And then Shiddick does a good job of coming back and squaring off, so.
He gets one.
Yeah, and I tell you what, this is turning into a little more physical match than we thought we were going to see earlier.
3-2, minute and a half left in the match. And the score is in favor of the Xavier Cedar Rapids wrestler, Mike Shuddick.
I don't think either one of these guys are going to leave their best move in their hip pocket. They're going to go after it here. See, Shiddick has the advantage. He has the double inside tie. He could go for the technique if he wanted there, but you look at the size of Fouch's legs. I mean, he's got a lot of respect for the power and strength he has in those tree trunk-like legs. Big man. Working off the tie. 1 minute. Really, at this stage of the match, Tim, it's Fouch has to try to generate some type of offense.
Well, now we have a warning on Shuddick from Xavier.
There he wants that ties up that double overhook, and he's going to take that big old giant step to see if he can get his man taken
nice shot
over.
Again. Oh, he picked, oh, man.
Wow.
You talked about physical. I think we just saw it, and it's 3-2 in favor of Shuddick from Xavier. Both men have warnings, and there's 20 seconds left in the match.
Well, that was the situation where Fouch wanted his laid back, and he said, by the way, get out of here. He got working inside. It's up to Fouch, though, trying to set up that far leg trip. And now Sheddick's getting a little bit more wise to it here. He's limped out of it. You see the limped arm.
And he's going to win a championship. He does.
Nice job of Matt wrestling there.
And the winner from Cedar Rapids, Xavier. There's Dave Malachek.
Dave, a former Osage wrestler, won a few state championships himself. All-American at UNI.
Now he's got himself a champion in Xavier in Mike Sheddick, who wins over Ben Fouch. Let's go to the award stand.
Into the auditorium. Presenting the Class 1A 189-pound awards, Coach Jason Carlson of Lawton Bronson. 6th place, Jeremy Kriegel, Iowa Valley Marengo. 5th place, Ryan Baker, Southeast Warren Liberty Center. 4th place, Willie Schrader, Riceville. 3rd place, Mark Sanger, West Hancock Brett. Runner-up, Curtis Eben, Central Lyon Rock Rapids. And the 1A 189-pound champion from Lawton Bronson, Jeremiah Potabom.
Well, let's go to Dean for a report.
Well, Tim, at Underwood High School, they call Mark Lander Sparky. Well, they're going to call him champion now. He's a state champion tonight. He decisioned Bert Christensen of Lennox 5-3. The champion, Mark Lander of Underwood, in the heavyweight at Class A. Back to the awards.
Presenting the Class 2A 189-pound awards, assistant coach and brother Craig Clark of Union LaPorte City. 6th place, Luke Ball, Jefferson Scranton. 5th place, Bart George, Norwalk. 4th place, BJ Strandberg, Storm Lake. 3rd place, Matt Wyckoff, Marion. Runner-up, Joe Brewer, Dallas Center Grimes. And the Class 2A 189-pound champion from Union LaPorte City, Trey Clark.
And one of the class wrestlers of the field, you're looking at 3-time 2A champion Trey Clark. Let's go to Joe.
Heavyweight class in Class 2A, it was Tom Conlon of Humboldt, 3-1 winner over Robbie Karaminga of Iowa Falls. It was the 4th time these guys wrestled this year, and Conlon won for the 3rd time.
Thank you, Joe. And of course, the win by the Underwood heavyweight gives Don Bosco, keeps them in 2nd, and Lennox
Presenting
finishes
the Class
3rd.
3A 189-pound awards.
Let's
Coach
go to the
Jeff
awards.
Neumeister of North Scott Eldridge. 6th place, Kyle Anderson, Lamar's. 5th place, Chris Busing, Cedar Rapids Jefferson. 4th place, Jonathan Taylor, Council Bluffs TJ. 3rd place, Chigosi Iasi, Prairie Cedar Rapids. Runner-up, Doug Onstadt, Indianola. And the Class 3A 189-pound champion from Eldridge, North Scott, Sean Stender.
Well, Jim, he did it with an exclamation mark right there.
He really did.
Big pin in the first period, 56 seconds.
Beautiful whip over, and that was tight, Tim. That's the tightest pinning combination we've probably seen the whole finals.
It didn't take the official long to slap that mat. And he was 3rd as a sophomore, 2nd as a junior, and now 1st. And as we mentioned, North Scott's first state champion since 1971. So great feeling for Coach Jeff Neumeister. Now we're going to go to the heavyweights awards, which will start at 1A.
All heavyweights, please report to the award stand area. Presenting the Class 1A heavyweight awards, Coach Louis Curtis of Underwood. 6th place, John Payton, East Buchanan Winthrop. 5th place, Ryan McLaughlin, Missouri Valley. 4th place, Alex Rice, Lake Mills. 3rd place, Ryan Demrow, Nashua Plainfield. Runner-up, Brett Christensen, Lennox. And the Class 1A heavyweight champion from Underwood, Mark Lander.
The Underwood champion, a little flair there with a little color, and he's also a member of the state champion team. Underwood, coached by Louis Curtis, wins the state championship. As does Emmetsburg Armstrong Ringstead, as does Lewis Central Council Bluffs.
Presenting the Class 2A heavyweight awards, co-coaches Kevin Tellier and Bruce Reimers of Humboldt. 6th place, Kyle Wellington, Louisa Muscatine. 5th place, Justin Hines, North Fayette West Union. 4th place, Jared Walls, MFL Marmac. 3rd place, Lance Johansson, Gladbrook Rhinebeck, North Tama. Runner-up, Robbie Crominga, Iowa Falls. And the Class 2A heavyweight champion from Humboldt, Tom Conlon.
There's a happy young man from Humboldt, Tom Conlon. Dean Borg, you have some perspectives from this wonderful event tonight that you want to share with us?
Well, Tim, my impression is just a lot of emotion here tonight, a lot of good sportsmanship. I think they get better every year. The wrestling is just top-notch every year, and I just have enjoyed being here this evening. Of course, I saw only the single A and the double A mats, but my overall impression is it's top-notch. Back to the awards.
Oh, thank you, Dean. You're top-notch. We appreciate your floor reporting.
6th place, Brent Nelson, Cedar Rapids Kennedy. 5th place, Kenny Blades, West Des Moines Dowling. 4th place, Mike Engelman, Spencer. 3rd place, Wade McLeod, Muscatine. Runner-up, Ben Fouch, Council Bluffs Abe Lincoln. And the Class 3A heavyweight champion from Cedar Rapids Xavier, Mike Shadek.
Well, there's Xavier's first champion, Mike Shadek, and you're only a rookie in this business once, Joe. You were a 4-timer, and now tonight, give us your impression of your role as our floor reporter and what you thought of the tournament.
Well, I think anytime you have three-time state champions in one tournament, I think that's pretty impressive. Also, I was impressed with the coaches that we have out here in the high school ranks, and I think the wrestlers that are going through the high school programs are very, very lucky right now. I think it's the best coaching group I've ever seen.
Well, thank you, Joe, and coming from you, it's a great compliment to the coaches, and with a report that says we've had great sportsmanship and great coaches and a lot of accomplishment with three-timers. What a wonderful way to go out. Let's join Mo Kelly for the awards presentation.
This time, with 92.5 points, Coach Aaron McGuire and Lennox.
Here comes Lennox, Aaron McGuire and his team from Southwest Iowa, winning 3rd place in 1A. 5 came in, 4 went to the finals. What a wonderful performance, Jim.
Well, they did have a great tournament, and they had great performances in the semifinals to get 4 finalists in here, and you got to be happy for Aaron McGuire and his program there.
Is Don Bosco, Gilbertville, Coach Dan Meshik, 93 points.
And here's a guy who's been there before, Dan Mashik. Had 3 finalists. The Reitner family ends up winning their state championships. Joe and Mac. Mac, a freshman, so
nice coach here.
Maybe seeing the start of something special here. Again.
Yeah, they've had something special for a long time.
And the repeat champion in Class 1A, 119.5 points, Coach Louis Curtis and Underwood.
Well, last year they scored 97 points and ran away with the championship, and this year they go 1 notch higher, 119.5 points, and win it by over 20 points.
Moving now to Class 2A, presenting for the Board of Control. Closest to me is Les Dalma, Superintendent of Schools, MOC Floyd Valley. In the center is Steve Waterman, Superintendent, Osceola Clark. Next to Mr. Waterman, Philip Hintz, current chairman of the board, superintendent from Newton, and also Arlo Flagey of Waverly, representing the Iowa Association of School Boards. In 2A, the 3rd place team, 80.5 points, Coach Brent Jennings and Osage.
Another traditional strong team, Osage. They had 2 champions and they get a 3rd place trophy.
Well, they had a little void there for a few years, and now they come back to gangbusters.
Points. Coach Dick Ingvall, Union, LaPorte City.
Great year, 3-timer Trey Clark and Meller also, 2 champs. Union, LaPorte City, 2nd place.
There you see Dick Ingvall accepting the trophy there, now handing it off to his team. Put a lot of years on the mat, coaching
the
guys.
Champion, 107 points. Coach Bob Kenny, Emmetsburg, Armstrong, Ringstead.
Well, they put 20 more points in last year where they got 3rd place, and with 87.5 this year, they win it all.
Well, I think those Armstrong guys might want to have an Armstrong, Ringstead, Emmetsburg, and but they're all champions today, and you got to be happy for them. They're bringing another title back to that Northwest Iowa town.
Okay, moving to Class 3A. Joining Mr. Hintz to present the awards. In the center is Chuck Van Heck, Athletic Director, Muscatine. And next to Chuck is Jerry Stillwell, Principal, Des Moines East, members of the Board of Control. In 3A, 3rd place, 63 points. Coach Dan Ryan, Bishop Heelan, Sioux City.
And as we said, he emerges out of the Northwest, the 1st trophy for Heelan.
Yeah, you're looking at the 1st trophy to go back to Sioux City.
In 2nd place, 75.5 points, Coach Brad Smith, Iowa City, City High.
Well, Brad Smith's got it going there. They the champions last year, and they get 2nd this year.
No stranger to taking home championship hardware for the team, and Brad Smith.
The 3A champion, 120 points. Coach Keith Massey, Lewis Central, Council Bluffs.
Well, 9 in the tournament, all underclass. You think we might be seeing them right here next year, Jim? There's a good chance. I'll tell you, what a great start of maybe a dynasty for Lewis Central.
No question about it. Louis Massey doing a great job there, or Keith Massey, excuse me, doing a great job. And
okay, we'd ask all but the teams and the individual champions to please clear the mat at this time so we can
There's your team standings, 1A. Final look at them. Don Bosco squeaks that second place out. Strong top 3 right there. Eagle Grove and Belle Plaine come in 4th and 5th. And there's your top 3, Emmitsburg, Armstrong, Ringstead, Union, LaPorte, Osage, and Creston in 4th place. And Louisa Muscatine, Tom Mashik, following his dad, Dan Mashik's footsteps, placing in the top. 3A, Lewis Central, Iowa City, City High, Sioux City, Heelan, and Council Bluffs, Lincoln, Urbandale in there with a 5th place. Well, it was another great one.
It really was, Tim, and I think Dean and Joe had it right. I mean, we saw great sportsmanship the whole time, and you know, these are Iowa's best, and we saw the best of the best tonight, and we didn't see anybody. You know, everybody, when you lose it, and you feel for these guys, these 39 guys out there that walked out there to try to win a championship. It didn't happen for them, but you didn't see anything that you wouldn't have been proud of, and you kind of feel for those guys being in this situation. They'll remember that for the rest of their lives. But how about those champions? You know, that's what we're here to do, is crown those champions. And I get excited. I just enjoy the environment.
Well, I am excited just to be beside someone that's won 3 state titles, and it was great to have Joe in, and Dean always does such a great job. And it's just the 39 champions. You look at the coaches, you look at the emotions, and it just doesn't get any better than the last Saturday night in February at Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines, Iowa. And for 29 years, we've enjoyed Iowa Public Television covering this event for the Iowa High School Athletic Association, the championships. And in Iowa, they can certainly say we are the champions. It's the top wrestling program in the nation and the top state high school championship. We hope you've enjoyed our 9-meet college wrestling series and tonight's high school telecast. Thank yous to Joe and Dean, of course, and again, 1A, Underwood wins, 2A, Emmitsburg, Armstrong, Ringstead wins, and 3A, Lewis Central, Council Bluffs. Funding for both was made possible of college wrestling and tonight's high school telecast by Friends of Iowa Public Television. We hope you'll show your financial support during Festival 2000 starting March 4th through March 19th. And you know, that's a big time for this this network here, the Iowa Public Television, and we hope you will come on board as friends of Iowa Public Television. Become a friend, and don't forget you can interact with Iowa Public Television all year long on our website to find out new wrestling information and possible special events that will occur. That's www.collegewrestling.iptv.org. www.collegewrestling.iptv.org. As we leave you tonight, we'd like to show you the many names of individuals who made this season's college wrestling and high school coverage and wrestling coverage possible. And now, for Jim Gibbons, Joe Gibbons, and Dean Borg, I'm Tim Johnson. Good night for Iowa Public Television Sports.
funding for the Iowa High School Wrestling Championships has been provided by Friends of Iowa Public Television. By Medicap Pharmacy, your locally owned and operated community pharmacy, serving Iowans from 56 Iowa locations. Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you. By Allied Insurance, a member of Nationwide Insurance, proud to be a supporter of Iowa's outstanding high school athletes. By Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialist, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community. By Plain Talk Printing, a commercial offset printer helping Iowans send clear, colorful, and focused messages for over 100 years. Plain Talk Printing, raising the color bar to a new standard. By Hammer Strength, providing exercise equipment for high school, college, and professional athletes. Product information and circuit floor plans are available at 800-634-8637. And by the Iowa Bankers Association, Iowa Banks, working with you and for you for a better Iowa. The 2000 High School Wrestling Championships are now available on video cassette by calling 800-444-IPTV. This 2-tape set, which lasts 4 hours, is available for $39.95 plus $4.50 shipping. To receive your copy of the 2000 High School Wrestling Championships, call 800-444-IPTV. And thank you for your support of Iowa Public Television.